you got a prayer in Memphis. Now Muriel plays piano every Friday at the Hollywood. And they brought me down to see her, and they asked me if I would do a little number. And I sang with all my might. She said, tell me, are you a Christian child? And I said, ma'am, I am tonight. Walking in Memphis. Was walking with my feet 10 feet off a beam. Walking in Memphis. But do I really feel the way I feel? Walking in Memphis. I was walking with my feet 10 feet off a beam.
Whee! Oh my God, what was that about? Welcome everyone to News on the Flipside. I've been doing this for a while, so we've been having a lot of different music opening up to shows, and this is going to be pretty much 52 weeks. I'm going to feature one major city from each state, and we'll see what each song represents. I like Mark Cohen; it's a good song to represent Tennessee. So there, y'all got little Tennessee people don't write to me. That's what's on. That's too bad. That just represent. Wait till you see what I picked for Los Angeles. Oh yes, wait till you see.
I love it.
Tonight I got John and Emily Goodwin with us from Galaxy Press and Writers of the Future, and just recently an award winner, and we're going to talk about that. Just, you know what? Let me see something. Wait, before we do that, let's see something. Let's see. Get rid of this, and let's do this. Let's see. What do we have laying around that we can use? Is this it? Yes, I think this is it.
What you doing?
This is the grand silent introduction. Is this the cue to start singing, Joe?
Wait, where'd it go? Where'd it go?
The only thing that keeps
I don't know what that was about.
Totally perfect is one of my stories is not in it. Just kidding, I'm nowhere near the caliber writer this book has. If you like science fiction and you do not read this book, then you do not truly like science fiction. Runaway #1 this year.
All
Congratulations.
All right, so this goes to all of the authors and illustrators that are featured in this book, which is from 8 different countries for the year. And to David Farland, who was the editor of this book, who passed away this last year right before it was came out. So we'd like to thank everybody that participated in the book.
We would also like to thank, because it's an increasing heritage that's been going on for, this is volume 38. We just released volume 39 last weekend at an awards ceremony with winners from 9 countries. So this is a contest that was created in 1983 by Ellen Hubbard and has been continued on now. We're in the 40th year. So I want to thank everybody at IBPA, all the judges, for recognizing these are the new voices of science fiction and fantasy, and you absolutely should check it out. Thank you very much.
All right, man, you need to take a breath there, man.
That was last week at the Independent Book Publishers Association Benjamin Franklin Awards
In San Diego.
Yeah, and we just are about to release Writers of Future Volume 39, but that was an award for Volume 38.
The one, you can't see it, it's sitting right there.
That right there, and it's a special book, and the winners they gave some amazing stories and some amazing illustrations, and so we're very proud of everybody.
I know. So science fiction awards. I mean, come on. There were some good stories in that one. I still remember that one. So
Right.
Yeah,
It
there's
was
great stories in there.
And I
No,
just got an announcement too. We can talk about it the next time around because I'm not supposed to say anything about it yet. But we just got another gold award for another science fiction award. It's I can't say it until next week once they've officially announced it. But I got the pre-announcement, making sure there's no typos on the award. That we were also a gold winner on another science fiction award for the science fiction category.
see, look at that. I must be like a lucky charm, man. I'm just teasing. I was just teasing. But no, yeah, that's good. Y'all win awards all over the place. That's what you want to see. Plus, y'all giving
Yeah.
away
Give 'em out.
awards all over.
Yeah, we give them out, and now we're getting them back.
Yes. Oh, I had my brain is getting so bad. I
Yeah,
had the
David.
Yeah, I had Dave. I had a lot of fun with Dave, by the way. So we played the clip of him on the stage, and then we talked, and I said, so you're going back up the second time. I said, what the hell's in your brain, dude? I mean, I said, are you like taking deep breaths, getting to the stage? He lost it. He was cracking up, but we had a fun show. We only got to do an hour, but we talked about a lot of different things.
Yeah.
We talked about it, how he did his speech, and he said the whole time I'm listening, he said, oh yeah, I had to be in the back, in the middle. He said, oh, I couldn't be in the front, man. He said, I kept thinking, give me some paper, I want to rewrite it. I said, no, I think he was okay, man. I think you did all right.
Yeah.
But it was so funny when he was telling me about the second time. He said, the damn awards are damn heavy. I was like,
They
I
are
said,
heavy.
I said, they are heavy, man. But
Winner.
he had a really good time. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, it's posted now. I think we put it up the other day along with a few others. We're trickling them out. Some that I did in LA, and then some that Carmen's setting up. So they're just kind of trickling out on the new site. And before anybody asks, they're not going on the old site. So if you don't have the new site address, write to me. I'm not giving it to you in air because it's confused with GoDaddy right now. So you just have to write to me. It should be uprntalkradio.com, but GoDaddy just doesn't want to let us leave. They're just like, they give us the code. I put the new code in to transfer the domain. The code don't work. I'm like, and it took them like 2 weeks to get us the code. It's just, they don't want us to leave. We've been there so long with them, and I've been slowly transferring domain names away from them. So they just, I guess they're offended, ladies and gentlemen. So what's next on the agenda for you? So we hear about this new award. We'll have to wait to hear that coming out.
Yeah.
I know we get podcast awards coming up too.
This is what's
This
up.
is hot. It's hot. It's
It's
hot.
on fire.
Yes, and by the way, see this one right here, people, and the one below it, and they ain't never going anywhere but right there. Matter of fact, all them ones you see right there, and most of the ones you see over here are autographs, so you're not getting in that. It's not happening.
Now I want to send you a box of books of these.
So we'll give them away. You know how I am.
I
You
know.
know I love giving shit away. It's now I will tell y'all this. These are very special. Even John don't have books like these. These have signatures that just did not work out for them the way it worked out for me. Plus I got special edition from Tom Wood since he wasn't there the first night to autograph. So there's a special edition early morning, special edition in there from Tom. Yeah, so there's a few other things in there that just nobody else has got. Hey, I was, I got to send y'all something. It probably won't be ready for about 2 weeks. So I started writing this piece about the whole entire event from top to bottom.
Wow.
So when I'm done, I'll send it to you and y'all can go through it and proof it and see where, because I don't want to, how can I say this? I was, for some reason, this particular time, I was privy to a lot of private conversations. So I want to allude to this without, giving anything privately away. So, because I already talked to the people I'm going to write about in it and made sure they were okay with it. But I want to, there's a lot of conversations that I want to allude to, kind of talk a little bit about what was in it and kind of just to talk how the event was unfolding around it and everything without giving away anything,
Yeah.
important. I don't know how else to say it. And, I've been playing with what's her name's dice too. It's driving me bat crazy. I'm sorry, guys. You had to be there to know what I'm talking about. But this lady gave me a dice and some papers and said, here, write something. I was like, what? And so I've been playing with it ever since. Again, I'm giving a copy to my son, too. I'm saying, here, you see what you can make out of this.
That was Nina. Nina
It was
Creek.
Nina.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And, but it was interesting. Well, it was an interesting concept to me.
Yeah.
Because obviously I'm not a writer. But it was definitely an interesting concept. The whole event was strange. There was a lot of stuff going on, man. There was a lot of keeping up with, a lot of people. Everybody was running in 500 meters, which is not unusual from the other ones. Just one just seemed to be a bit busier than the other ones. But I did, for some reason, I just got to hear a lot of different conversations this year that I didn't hear in previous years. I don't know how to explain it. It's just strange.
Well, you're getting the hang of it too. You're just becoming like.
Yeah, and people know me now. They're not scared. I'm going to go say something nasty about them or something like that. Because the conversation with Dean and Kevin, it was just an outstanding conversation all the way
You're
around.
just chilling at that point. You're just like,
Yes, we're all just hanging out.
and so they're like, they're not worried.
I've become like the furniture.
Kinda.
It's kind of funny, but it is. And who sent me them ugly pictures of me? God, that was Jason, wasn't it? I know that was Jason sent them damn pictures.
Oh, but I took photos of you working.
Oh, Jesus.
Exciting.
I don't need those pictures. I don't need, look, wait. Let's see. Look, I'm almost 17 pounds lighter than I was last year. So next year, I'll probably be another 17 pounds.
I have pictures of you helping at the book signing.
Oh, my God. I was just over here. Yeah, people, let me say, you can't stand around. They're going to put you to work. That's all I can tell you. There is no stand around. Well, it was funny because when I walked in the corner, I said, well, look, there's nothing else I can do right now because, all the pictures and everything we really needed was already done. And then I knew what y'all got from them coming in. So I was kind of like, well, I'll just hang out over here. And who was it put me to work? I was like, okay, let's do some. Well, last year, Sarah and Echo put me in the middle of passing books around in the middle of the things. I say, okay, this is insanity is what this is. People, I don't know how to explain. You have to be there to understand what I'm talking about. It's just insanity. It's organized insanity. Don't get me wrong now, but it's still insanity.
You hear about the book signing?
Yeah, at the book sign. And so, some of these people can sign really, really fast and some not so fast. So you get like little log jams along the way. It's a lot of fun to watch. And honestly, it's the reveal is also one of my favorite things. I got matter of fact, I made a reel out the damn thing. It's already went to like 55,000 people.
Wow.
It was not the one on the stairs. It was when you opened the doors and everybody rushed in.
Yeah.
I made a reel out of it. I wanted to see what it, just put it up there, and it did really well. I was really surprised. I haven't even put it on TikTok yet. So, and I noticed y'all have gotten about 5,000 clicks off the site. I checked it yesterday, so that's a good thing.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the 23rd Illustrators. Look, I should say illustrators. I should say writers and illustrators, but y'all should go check it out. I mean, first off, the whole entire gala event's up there. You can go watch everything up there. You can watch these people give their speeches. It's a lot of fun to watch because really and truly, you have some idea how nervous some of these people are, and and then some of them are old pros like John and Emily, and they're just like, yeah, I got this. It's not even a big deal.
Well, it's always a big deal, but we're all excited because we got 24 new winners that are being introduced. We just got sent to us. One of our Costa Rican winners was on TV, Chris Arias, and did a really nice It was a big deal. I mean, this is the first time we're having winners from Costa Rica, and so he's just getting the royal treatment down there. He's invited as a special guest for Comic-Con, and he's had TV, lots of print media.
I noticed about the day after the gala, the last 2 days they really kind of settled down. They came in and started sitting with everybody and talk, and they got way more comfortable. I actually got some talk time with them. So we actually spent quite a bit of talking, and we talked about some other stuff. So that was kind of cool. But the first week, it was like, no, man, And the poor Ukrainian guy, I wanted to talk to him, but that man is on. He's just nonstop. Every time I took, he's like, whoosh, whoosh. So we'll catch him another time. Let him run.
He had some certainly wild stories from Ukraine.
I wrote him. I gave him my last card in the road, and I said, look, if you really want to get to Russia, I have about 6 million listeners over there. So here, give me a call. Give me a text is actually what I told him. I said, look, that way you can get hold of it because we're still doing good in Russia right now. We're still doing good in the Ukraine right now, which is amazing to me since they're trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
No, Bruce. This is the science fiction. What it was for book 38, for volume 38 is what I should say from last year. There's a lot of good stories. If you haven't got it, you can still get it. It's still available.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, 39's out now, so you can get 39. 39's got some great artwork in it, and I got to spend some quality time with some of the illustrators this year, and I actually got some motivations out of some of them for a change. It was very interesting, and some of them, of course, were much more outgoing than other ones. So it's
Now you've read all or most or several of the stories in here.
several of them, yeah.
So, what do you have a favorite yet?
No, I'll probably finish it because I got 2 interviews coming up, and I got to finish. I got to make sure I get through their stories. So basically, what I've been doing is reading as we've been interviewing them. Is what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Last year, because usually I get to read it on the plane, and this year, I usually read it like 2 weeks before the plane, and then I usually read it on the plane. But this year, that didn't happen out that way. So, like I always tell them, hold the host accountable. Don't say, "Did you read the book?" And they're like, "Yeah." So I talked to a couple about that, and then like I said, though, it was really weird because both in the writers and the illustrators, there seemed to be 2 or 3 that were just out there and putting us on. The rest seemed to be much more refined, much more laid back, much more introverted than what I'm used to seeing at them. So it was just kind of strange for me. But after though, everybody was there 4 or 5 days. Everybody relaxed and calmed down and said, "Oh yeah, he's not crazy. I'll talk to him." And so that was pretty good. And then who was it? Oh, I can't think of his name now, but there was just a lot of good people there. And of course, all the judges are great. And this year I got to spend a lot more time with the judges than I did in previous years, which was really nice for me.
That's good.
Yeah, well, I built some relationships so I can do some other talking besides what we were talking about there. So, because I want to have them on and I want to talk about writers of the future, but there's a couple other things I want to get into. I like to get a little deeper into who they are and where they came from. So, kind of leading up to the interview itself. So that'll be pretty good.
These guys are major players in science fiction and fantasy.
I know, and now I actually understand. After this 4th season with y'all, I actually understand who they actually are.
Yeah.
So like when y'all dropped me in the middle of 24 and all the judges last time, I was like, who is all these people? And some of them I recognized, and some of them like I have not a clue who they are. So I had to rely on y'all to tell me who they were and what they were doing. Now I've got to know them well enough that I've actually got a sense of who they actually are, which makes it much more comfortable for me to talk to them. And that's why I got a lot more stuff out of a lot more talk information this year than last year. But still, it was good. There's a lot of good stuff came out of it. And DeSantis, Dan DeSantis, he was cracking me up so bad. It was what was that, like day 2 or day 3, and he's going, "Let's go for a walk. Let's go for a walk." I was like, "Where you want to go for a walk?" So that was later that night as we were all taking pictures out in front of Author Services, or right over there in the Galaxy Press, whatever, on the corner right there.
Yeah.
Where y'all had everything in there. So we stopped and took pictures there twice. We went by one time and everybody posed, and then we came back and everybody posed. It was kind of strange, but y'all have to see it. I had the whole front of the office made up really nice, guys. So we were just going along taking pictures and goofing off the group of us. It was Larry and Dan and Tom and April and Sarah and Bryce and somebody else and myself. So it was a crowd.
Yeah.
And everybody was well behaved, no drinking or nothing. Everybody's just walking around exploring. It was definitely a handful, but and I like that little hidden place in the back there when we found that little place behind the bar where you could sit and eat or sit and drink. It was kind of nice back there, so you could hide back there and talk when it wasn't somebody else didn't have it. It was kind of nice to hang back there. And I got to meet some runners up this year, and then I set up some stuff with Wolf and with Lazarus and Wolf have upcoming interviews with me when their books come out. And matter of fact, Wolf sent me home with his guide for writing. Basically, I got it in my bedroom. I've been reading through it.
Super secret.
Yeah, the super secret, yes. And he's telling me about his books. I told him as soon as he's ready, either get hold of me directly, I'll let y'all know, or Carmen or somebody know, and I'll get him on, and we'll go through whatever he wants to talk about on there. Because I remember we were sitting there when he handed it to me, and she said, "I'm here. I can't even get one of these." I said, "Well, Wolf knows I need all the help I can get, so he's giving it to me," and which is kind of funny. And then I liked Steve gave me a hard copy of his. I like that; it was nice. So it's sitting back there as well. And
Steve,
Fantastic.
yeah. So
I've interviewed him. Right now I've got like 15 interviews in the can, so that I've got like 3 months worth of interviews.
Yeah, I got 10 that I got to go through. Some of them got to be edited. This year, everybody's got really good face shots, which is really nice. There's just some stuff I want to change around and edit out a little bit. But I've been like I said, I've been trickling them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix them with the stuff Carmen's setting up and what we did previously, plus whatever we're writing about. So I'm just going to kind of mix and match them as they go into the new site. Plus, I still got. I don't even. I went through all the pictures on the airplanes home just to get everything out I needed to, but there's still like 1,500 pictures in there. I got to go through and figure out where I'm going to put who and where. There's some great shots of y'all. There's great shots of everybody. I got my usual ones that I can touch and leave Aunt Sarah with. Oh, I got some. Finally, I got a picture of their very elusive, this blonde-headed girl that works for y'all.
Ria?
No, not Ria. She's a big old tall Amazon girl.
Chelsea.
Yes, finally. I got Savannah too, but finally, every picture I took of Chelsea last year was like phase. I asked her, I said, "Are you like some demon and you're just not telling me?" Because I mean, come on, there was like 100 pictures in there, and they were all like. This year, though, I finally got some good ones over. So I got some good ones of Jason. I can't wait to post those up.
Where do you post them?
They're going to go on the new site. They're actually all in the packet now, so they're going on the new site. I'm not putting anything on the old site because then I'll just have to tear it down and move it, and I don't want to move it, so I'm just putting it over there. And I'm going to release the other address probably tomorrow, actually, because we got 3 different addresses we're going to use until they transfer the new one back or the old one to the new site. So I'll send y'all a copy of it, and it's just a place wanted to change it. Well, I've been with Homestead a long time, and I've never had the problems with Homestead that I have with GoDaddy. So, and we already host 16 sites on Homestead. So I just decided we'll just move it. We've never had any problems with them. And so I said, we'll just move everything back. And plus, they're unlimited sites. I've been with them since they started. So they're a big company. They got a lot of good equipment. Doesn't seem to have, like I said, I don't seem to have problems there. And GoDaddy, I'm not hating on y'all. I just don't have the same problems. That's all I'm trying to say. Everything seems to work a little differently, a little better actually, but still. That's homestead.com, people, if y'all are interested. It does cost money, but it's not real expensive. So go check them out. So yeah, that'll all be up there, and I'm putting up a couple of picture sections. Just I'm probably going to label them day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. People can see how everybody's progressing through. I got some good ones of Johnny.
Too with like that as well on risingfeatures.com. We have in the blogs. We have a blog for each day that people arrived as well, and you can see Uncle Joe there, and when you arrive, and you'll see you in some of those different photos too.
Yes, if I known y'all would be taking pictures, man, I would have actually put some clothes on. Well, that came out wrong. Still.
That didn't sound right. It sounds like you ran through.
Okay, that sounded bad, but still. Jack, I don't know, John. When does the voting start for Podcast Awards? July, June, huh?
I think it's in June. So we're about this. I'll be making the little promo for all the different podcasts. I'll be making that in the next couple of weeks. I'll be scripting it, and Emily's going to be the voice again.
I am the voice. Do not to mess with me. Yes. I am the voice. What? No, that's Amelia Doofus. And I do flip-flop their names sometimes. Don't ask me because they're Canadians. It's a Canadian thing.
He does mix us up routinely.
And don't ask me why they don't even look remotely the same either. They don't. I mean, it's just a thing in my head. I don't know what it is.
Well, our names are very similar.
Amelia goes, "Do you ever call her by my name?" I said, "Yeah, occasionally I do." She just looks at me like, "Joe, you know where you at?" Well, people, sometimes it happens. You get caught up in the moment. Yes, everybody looked very nice at the ball, at the gala. Everybody looked very good. Everybody looked very sharp. All the ladies looked very sexy. All the men looked very sharp. Everybody looked good. Yes, and I still love Dan's jacket. I need to find one of those.
John got his tailor.
Yeah, he's introduced me to his tailor so I can get a suit made because that was a handmade suit.
Yeah, so all I can tell you, you're gonna have to go watch the gala to find out what I'm talking about. But you anybody who's a Marvel or a DC fan will love this suit. So that's all I can tell you. I'm not going to tell you any more than that. You're going to have to go watch for yourselves. But
he didn't turn into Iron Man and fly off stage, but it was pretty cool.
We didn't need none of that anyway. There was enough high emotions going on. Oh, people, you should watch. It's great watching. It's better for me because I know what they've been going through all week. But I've been exposed to the emotion. But still, when they're on stage, it's a culminated. I can't even speak tonight. Damn.
Culmination.
Thank you. I cannot speak that all night. It's no, Dan. It's just what it is. John. It's just what it is. What do you mean, John? It's what it is. I missed something in this conversation. Apparently, okay. Sorry. I was going to read his comment, but apparently I missed something along the way here. Who was there? Let me tell you what. Tell me your name, and I'll ask John Emily because they'll know if you were there or not. Come on, tell me. Were you somebody famous? Are you like what's her name from CBS that watches this? Come on, you can tell us. Oh yeah, I don't believe you. That's all I'm saying. I think you're
Somebody
full of
said
you
they
now.
were there at the event.
Yeah, somebody said they were there. And what? They said, well, I'll tell you what you're dressed in. Really? Black? Come on.
Good guess.
I'll tell you what, if I was there, you'd tell me what color tie I was wearing. I wasn't wearing a bow tie, so I'll tell you that right off the bat. So now tell me what color tie I was wearing. Yeah, you weren't there. Actually, they did have very good hors d'oeuvres floating around while everybody was outside. Lots of press outside, lots of picture taking going on, lots of interviews going on. I got to talk to a lot of people. I met the little South Korean girl's sister. She is a very fascinating young woman, I have to say. And I was just because I was talking with somebody when she was sitting by herself. So we walked up and said, and I introduced myself and blah 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 blah. We talked while everybody was inside signing. We talked for a good hour and a half.
Wow.
And learned a lot about both of them. So that was interesting. I learned more from her than I did from the sister. So that's an interesting. I met her mom, who was very nice. She was sitting there waiting on a glass of champagne. The guy said, "When you need a glass," and I said, "Come here, kids, want a glass of champagne." I got it. Go ahead. And after that, we talked for a good 20, 30 minutes. It's they're very nice family.
Yeah. No,
And their English is better than mine.
that we have no idea the personalities. We just people win because of the storytelling and the quality of their art. But it's pretty much a truism that our winners are always like really nice people.
They seem to be. I've met 4 seasons of them.
Every now and then you'll get someone who's just like a bit of a stick in the mud, but that's not why they're here. Everybody gets a fair shake. There's just like everybody's offered a trip out to Hollywood. Everybody's offered the week-long workshop. Mr. Hubbard pays for the whole thing. It's like it's not anything to do with your personality, your sex, your nationality, your ethnic, your religion. It's only because you're a great storyteller or a great artist that you've come out. So some people aren't. Here comes the terror dogs.
That's my daughter coming home. It's they want loose too. They want out.
Yeah.
But Dad, we know somebody's home.
All the stories are great, and we try to get everybody out here. Sometimes people can't get their visas. Like a Romanian girl, she's worked out how she can make it next year. Because she needs to have a few more anchors in Romania. She was going to fly out with her mom. That she's single mom. She's not going to school. There's no job there, so that's the perfect ingredient for defections. They said, no, you're not going to get a visa.
Yeah, I could see that too. I could understand that.
The first part we were able to get, we had 8 different countries?
Nine this year.
But one didn't make it.
Yeah.
But and
our Iranian winners never make it. Go figure.
Yeah, that's the same too, because I've met some really interesting Iranian people over the years. I met a good friend of mine. He used to work for me when I was as a general manager. He used to work for me. He'd come over. He said, I wish they'd just let us all come to school here. He said, if we could just educate. I said, yeah, well, they're not going to, so don't get your hopes up. Yeah. But he was a really good guy. He was really nice. And then he brought his they let him bring his wife over. Actually, his wife and his I don't know what she was, but anyway, his wife and his friend, I'll say. And they were very nice people. They all got along great, and they still had to wear all this stuff. And then a bunch of the states made it illegal to cover your face. But they were really nice. And he said they're always worried you're not going to come back. He was here to learn how to be a doctor. He went home after he got through his school. He went home. He took him back, and everybody went home. The problem was, I think his wives got a little bit Americanized. It's hard for women who live places like that and then stay here for any length of time. Mm-hmm. It changes them. It's just one of those things. Unfortunately, American women are very, very, let's just say, very outgoing, and leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't want to get in any trouble with any of you ladies out there. I know too many of y'all. So, but it is interesting to see that. You're going to get them in other countries like that. Sooner or later, somebody from Venezuela will win. Or
we had 2 winners from Costa Rica this year.
Now, one thing, since you're going to be kicking us off in 5 or 10 minutes here, I just want to make sure we also let people know that this book is releasing now. And one of the reasons I wanted to alert people to is that the official release is the 16th of May. You'll be all the bookstores in the United States and Canada. And it's
But if you order it now, it'll ship in the next few days and you'll have it.
You'll have it, yeah. But it's like the stories in here are just so cool. There's fantasy and science fiction, and the artwork is just, no other book has the kind of artwork that it does.
Yes, we went. Let me see if we can do it here. We went through the other night. I had it out. Well, twice it's been we've had the artwork out. Let me see. I don't want to be bending up my pages, people. Oh, look, there you go. So,
See, there's a couple of the pieces of art, and that was Dalby. He was a illustrator. He was the grand prize winner. You can see that piece right there.
Yeah, this one here.
Yeah. Sorry. And then just some great stuff in here. Find one that's not written all over.
but we were showing the. See this one too. When I first seen this one, I don't know why it sticks in my head like it does. For some reason, every time I see this picture, I think of an oil. I don't know why. It's too dark to see in here real good, but every time I see it, I think of an oil.
This one.
My thing is, I like them all.
I love this one.
Oh, I know. This yeah, we'll both show it. This, let me put it up there. This was great. This was great. Y'all have to read the story about this too, by the way. So when you
Funny story.
so believe it or not, this picture does sell the story.
Yeah.
I can't go any further than that because I don't want to give it away. So saying much more will give it away. But this picture does sell this story.
Yeah.
And I hadn't read it when I had first seen the picture. I'm like, what? So I had to go read it to see it. Matches it. So I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in here, guys. This one here is one of my now become a friend of mine. She's just a young lady right here who did this one.
April.
Yes,
Yeah,
April
Solomon.
and April and Sarah I consider friends now because they're more insane than I am. And,
Yeah, that one, that story, the little teaser thing on here for that story was, let's see, it has, when a vampire, a dragon, and a shape-shifting chihuahua meet on a beach in Key West, fireworks go off, but that's just the background.
that shit's great. I mean, people, all I can tell you is you got to go read it. I can't tell you anything else.
Who knows? Maybe Lola is really Glory. Your little Lola.
I know, which she acts like a little demon terror sometimes.
Yep.
And she does. But there's a lot of great ones in here, guys. There's a lot, I mean, pretty much all the ones I had looked at originally really do sell their stories. It always amazes me how that they do this artwork with these stories. So, I see we got a couple
The winner of stories to read, and then Echo art directs them, and she's just a brilliant artist, and so she really helps them a lot as an art director.
Yeah, it's whoops. Come back here, screen. And for some reason, I did like this one with the city. I don't know what it was. When I seen it, it just well, hold on. Know what it is with this earbud tonight. For something about this one, it just did remind me of like Tokyo or Hong Kong or Beijing. I don't know what it was about it when I first walked out. I guess it was one of the first ones I seen.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it just gives me that picture that, hey, I'm in some very bright, very advanced city somewhere. And but guys, all I can tell you is when you walked up,
Is AI really? AI want to be recognized as people. They're so advanced at that point there, which is just, it's just interesting because a lot of that stuff is in discussion right now.
It is, and the AI comes up almost every time now we do one of these shows. I actually seen it go by in comments a little while ago on the messenger, but it's hey Roseanne, how you doing? It's just John and I have talked about this a lot. John's talked about it with a lot of other people. I've talked with a lot of people. Jeff Weiner was on with me. I talked with him about Tom Wood last time he was on. Some of the illustrators, we talked a little bit about it because I didn't want to get into it too much because that wasn't really what the interview was about. But we did touch on it a little bit, and it's just something we're going to have to deal with in the future.
Yeah. So if for the art, we've got the immediate handlings on that. So if somebody questions what type of art it is, the judges can ask for the earlier layered files to see how they built that. So, because if you do AI art, you just get a final picture. You don't get any layers. So that's one way you can tell.
You can't copyright it right now, can you? I mean, it's uncopyrightable.
And
Now, I've noticed something about AI art, by the way. So when I first started seeing it, it was really, really, really good. But I've noticed now that it's had time to really spread out across the internet, it's making a lot of mistakes. So I've been, I've seen different pictures people have requested that come out weird,
yeah.
cockeyed or strange or something. And so I think as it absorbs more material, it makes it a little bit harder for it to be. I think when it was condensed to certain libraries, it was a lot easier for it to pick and choose. But now that it's got the whole freaking world to choose from, my favorite one is the 5-legged dingo and the 3-eyed kangaroo. It's just hilariously funny. And it wasn't supposed to be. It was just supposed to be a kangaroo fighting a dingo. That's all it was supposed to be. So it just ad-libbed all over the place. It even had an eye on its tail. I was like, what the hell? I was like, what the hell's with that? What's up, Dean? Who? Never heard of him. No, I'm sorry. Morris Kolofsky. I don't know who you're talking about. Y'all ever heard of Morris Kolofsky? There's a lot of writers on the planet, and they could be from anywhere on the planet.
Yeah,
I'm sure John and Emily know a lot of them, but come on, man, you got to even people who read every day is going to be like, come on, they can't read everything. Well, if you want to pay for me, go.
New authors always. So
Yes, well, I'll take a
if you're
trip.
a writer, please submit.
So people submit. You can't win if you don't submit. That's all
Got
I'm
to go to
telling you.
writersofthefuture.com. Writersofthefuture.com.
They're on both of our sites. You can find them there. The 2022 gala is on the old site. The new site has the 2023, so you can go over and take a look at it. But you can go to YouTube. You don't have to go there. You can go directly to Writers of the Future. Just type in Writers of the Future 23 gala, comes right up. Boom. You can do it like that. Yes.
Yeah.
It's really easy to find. It's just fun to watch. It's what's like watching any gala. I mean, what was the gentleman who was speaking? One of the speakers.
Dan Farr?
No, the one who said it was like the Oscars. What's his name? He was a producer, I think.
Oh, like the guy who spoke at the workshop?
No, he spoke at the gala. He was a real nice looking guy, probably 40ish, early 50 or something. Oh man, I can't remember his name now. That's just sad.
Kevin Anderson used to refer to it like that.
No, he
called it that.
But he wasn't a judge or anything like that. He was just a speaker. I think he was a producer or something. Yes.
Metzgerman.
Yes.
Yeah, he's the one that came up and was
He's talking like Picard.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also recorded the audiobook, Jim and Tamara and Taylor Metzgerman. That would be a fun interview for you, just to have interview the whole family.
Oh, they're a lot of fun.
They are so much fun. He's the one. I don't know if you-
And two, Joey said his cat's great.
Somebody's getting probed. Y'all just close y'all's ears on national world radio and television. Somebody's getting probed. Okay.
Joey's cat is fine.
Okay, thank you. I'm telling you, somebody's trying to get probed.
No.
The probest world is the things I do for a living, I swear. Jack, no, that was my wife telling me something. She never interferes in shows, so it was kind of weird. It's like, what do you want? Usually when she wants to talk to me, she's sure it's about something, that we don't want to talk about, but I don't know what that was about.
I wish I knew that was her. Tell her I said hello.
Yes, I will. I'll tell her. She's hiding out now. She's like, she's going. Carol, no, you got to win. What do you mean? Blackmail? No. You bribe? How much? No.
You can go watch the event at writersofthefuture.com. The entire event from start to finish is there. Yeah.
And then we also have the blogs, the daily blogs, which has an account of the writer workshop, the art workshop, and all the pictures. So each day you got photos of all the winners and judges and special guests as the week progressed.
Oh, you go buy $100,000 worth of books. Yeah, Emily will give you a table next year. I guarantee she'll give you one.
I'll think about it. Send me the name.
Yeah, that's true. If you're a little weird, it's not going to happen. You might be one of them weirdos out there, like Amber Turd or something. So we just.
Oh dear.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize for that. What? Y'all only got a couple minutes. Because I got to go. I got things. I got a life. And it's early in LA, guys. It's only what 8 o'clock out there, huh?
Yeah,
Mhm.
almost 8 o'clock.
It's early for them.
So anyway, so I just want to make sure that one last, plug. That's why I was really excited to be able to talk to you about this big win that we had for
I think that's great, by the
this
way.
book on this one here, which is awesome. But these are amazing stories, and everybody who's, if you like science fiction, if you like fantasy, you're guaranteed to find something here that you're going to like. And the thing that amazes me, because I have the Rise of the Future podcast that I run every week, and I interview so many authors over the last 4 years, and I'm just amazed each year that there's 12 new takes on stories. There's like, how'd they think of that? One of these things with that, the whole Jewish history going back to Hitler, and come with an idea of how to change the timeline so that there's a whole different future that's not like that. And but the whole theme of it, that's kind of like the trope that was used, but the whole theme of it is family, and don't forget who you are. It's really important. And so that's science fiction. You got others that are satire in here. You've got some that are like this one here on the Return of the Foxes here. The first story on Kitsune is, talks about feminism and the role of the female and the woman and what that means. This one here, like we mentioned earlier, the Death and the Taxman, that's just a real funny story.
It's very
It is.
clever.
And by the author himself had gone through an audit from an IRS agent and didn't want to go through that again. But it's just kind of like he was inspired by the passing of Dave Wolverton, our coordinating judge, and said that's what inspired him to do it. Like, you don't, nobody wants to die, nobody wants to let go, and that's the basis of this story, And Under My Cypresses, that's just about becoming friends with, do you want to be plugged in to an AI or to meet real people? And it's becoming more and more of an issue as people get more and more
Plugged in.
internet, and not so much, especially after the pandemic, where people are less and less inclined to just be with people, and they're more into this living on the net. It gets scary on that stuff. So there's so many different great stories on this from all over, from science fiction, fantasy, historical fiction. It's amazing. The Children of Desolation. Just that one there is just. When I finally just finished listening to it, because I'm QCing the audiobook right now, about halfway through, and because it's releasing in a few days, and just amazing, these storylines, what people think of and how they, the quality of writing, just makes you like, now what happened? It's just when you get short fiction, you're not stuck with a long time to get through a story arc. You can start changing it and stop it in a setting, in a night, in one trip on a train. It's really easy to do that. And you're going to meet 12 amazing new authors and 12 amazing new artists that you will be seeing in the future. These are the voices of the future, and
They are too.
yeah. And so, like, you were last year covering this book, and just when he said the only thing that made this perfect, the only thing that kept this thing from being totally perfect book was the judges saying, because my story wasn't in it, but then I wouldn't have been good enough to win anyway. So
Yeah, no, I heard that. I remember that.
so that's what we do with these things, and the reviews coming in are just amazing.
Well, the best endorsement I can give y'all, because y'all know how I like to read. Everybody who's been following me for decades now. I've read 10 of these now. And when I finish 39, this will be 11. And like I said, usually would have already been done because I usually read them ahead of time. But somehow I know that didn't work out this year, which was very strange. But anyway, so you see there's 10 of them there I've read. No, none of these are all personal copies. They're not going anywhere. All of them over there are signed, so they're not going anywhere either.
I'll send you a box of books so you can work out you need to give
well, y'all missed out. We gave a bunch away for Christmas. So every lightsaber we gave away 3 books because we had 3 versions.
Nice.
So all y'all got 3, and then we gave away. Well, we gave 3 to a lot of people, and then we gave away I think 2 boxes. Is either 2 or 3 to schools, 1 to a library, I think 2 to schools, or maybe even 3 to schools. So no, we gave away a lot of books, and then John and we sent a lot of books that we gave away. It was like over 200 that we gave away, and then. We gave a lot. We always give away a lot of books, people. So the thing of it is like one of our friends, Tamara in Canada, she got 3 from them, and then 2 from another artist, and then 2 from another artist, and then she got a calendar from L. Ron Hubbard. So she was really happy because she got I think altogether 7 books. It was expensive to send her
Wow.
to Canada, and but she was looking forward to these. The other ones were lanyard, and because for some reason we had sent out 3, and Canada kept sending them back. And I'm like, guys, what are you doing? It's just like $150. Come on, just send them up there. And finally, they straightened it out. So I told her because she had to wait so long, I sent her some extras, and so she was really, really happy with them. So, guys, all I can tell you is read them. You're gonna enjoy them. I'm not going to tell you you're going to like every story in there, but I'm going to tell you you're going to like some for sure. And it's not just sci-fi. It's fantasy in general. What I mean by that is you just don't know what the story is going to come out to be when you start to read it.
That's right.
It might turn into just trust me on this. When you start reading the story, it's not going to take a direct sci-fi or a direct this way or this way. You just got to read the story and see where it ends up. There was a couple last year that I read that surprised me. One in particular I like for some reason more than others, but everybody's going to have their favorites.
Yeah.
And that's like, this year I had my favorites of the ones I had read, and same thing with art. So, well, I got them wrong each year so far. So apparently I shouldn't be picking, but still,
No.
I knew somebody was going to ask me that.
Pick what the judges pick. I mean, they're not even the same stories that I would have picked or that John would have picked, but that's okay. It's.
Well, I figure they got a much more informed palate than mine. So,
see, the thing is that all the stories in the book they're all winners.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you authors something right now. Winning to hang out with Jody and Tim all day is worth $1 million. That's all I can tell you. The banter that goes on between these two is fabulous. I can't tell you more than that because John and Emily will hurt me, but all I can tell you is it's fabulous. I got lots of videotape of them, lots of tape, and nothing that y'all will ever get to see. You'll get to see some pictures of the two of them, but that's all you're going to get to see. So sorry. Everything else is classified unless you win. It's just, hey, I even got some rules I have to behave. So all I can tell you is it's well worth it. It was like when Dean and Todd did it the year before last. Them two cracked me up. I wasn't even there for the class, and I couldn't stop laughing. And they were serious, man. They were not playing around. It was a great course to watch the two of them go at it. So it was a lot of fun. But Jody and Tim are great just listening to them go back and forth. And there's other things you're going to find that's a lot of fun and a little bit stressful at the same time. But all I can tell you is win. I recommend going and getting in and trying. I tell people all the time. I even in my daily life, I'll see people from time to time and say, hey, why don't you you can write? Yeah, I can write. Well, here, go here.
Well, thank you.
It's the least I can do. It's I have a lot of fun, and most everybody I talk to, you always hear somebody wants to write, and we were just talking with what's her name, Maggie Remus. Maggie Remus. She's an Australian, and she writes to me a couple weeks ago. She said, "Well, I'm gonna submit." I said, "You can't." She's like, "Well," I said, "You make way too much money." It's like, what do you mean? Anybody can? I said, no. I said, how much you made last year, baby? 7 figures. I said, you can't submit. I said, I'm sorry.
As an author, she's making that much?
She made 7 figures.
Yeah, I think she would be crowed out, is what we call it.
And I was like, I said, you can send one, but I'm just telling you, once they look you up, it's gonna be bad. So
yeah, the contest is for amateurs, so you can't have like over 3 professional sales.
But she tells me, because a lot of her stuff is it's like it's publications for companies and stuff like this, different things she helps people with and different groups she works with. It's almost like a self-help thing. She goes, well, that's not sci-fi. I said, I don't think it matters, sweetie. I still don't think it matters. I said she's really nice though. And she got into she wanted to be an author, and she started working for this company, and then she realized that she could do it better, so she went independent. And before she realized, she was making 6 figures, and then she was making 7 figures, and now she's semi-retired and owns part of an open mine in Australia, which is very nice. Must be very nice, is all I can say. An opal mine, people come, a big one at that.
Wow.
The things you do to hey, when you make it, you make it. See, y'all can be buying a win writers of the future. Get out there, write a big book, make a big movie. Let me put it this way: at least half the judges there have got some kind of book movie credit to themselves.
Yeah.
So, and some pretty big movies, and there's not little movies you've never heard of. These are pretty big ones.
Yeah.
But
Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah.
All right, John. Why do you have John? Oh, you're using John. Oh, you think you're John Goodwin? I'm sorry. I gotta stop laughing for a minute. Okay, I should not read messages sometimes. What? Anyway, what's your question? No, I can tell you that they don't. They do. Y'all do fiction, right? L. Ron Hubbard's fiction work.
Yeah. Bridge
So
Public does his nonfiction.
Yes. So did you?
If anybody has questions, and we were going to talk about doing a show one of these times about L. Ron Hubbard to answer questions about him.
We really need to because we do get questions. What do you mean, Bruce? Parameters? There won't be any parameters to the show. Just don't ask a stupid question. No, we'll ask any questions, but don't ask nothing stupid. I'm just being honest with you. Well, if you don't know what stupid is, ask it, and I will surely correct your ass.
Joe will let
Okay.
you know if it's stupid or not.
Yes, and so you don't have to worry about that. Oh, no. Well, John and I have talked about it. Well, I've been learning a lot about L. Ron over the last few years, and I knew a little bit about him. I want to say I knew a lot about him. I knew, just probably what most every other idiot knew. And but I've learned a lot about him. He's got a lot of good stuff. I've got 4. Oh, where the hell are they? I've managed to snatch 4 of them from John now. Anyway, they're hard copy books, and I'll have to show them to you. I think Linda's got them up front. She steals them for the front of the house all the time. And they managed to get on my coffee tables and my end tables up there.
Yeah.
So that's probably where they are right now. But they're great books. There's a lot of stuff in there to read, and the man just got a wealth of information. But it's not even that. He had just a nice, long, interesting life.
Yeah.
He did a lot of things. He got involved with a lot of things, and he was living life for what it was. You only get X amount of time here, people, and then the aliens come take you. I'm just warning y'all ahead of time. No, I'm not a Mormon. Who the hell? No. Yes, the Mormons want to go live on another planet. Yes, they do. But it has nothing to do with aliens. They just want to go live on another. No, their God's not an alien. Who told you this stuff? You know what? I got some friends in Mormons. Would you like me to hook you up with one of them? And they can explain it because I sure can't. No, it's not like that. You know what? You were watching Expanse. That's where you got that from. Yes, I know. As soon as you said it, I knew what movie you got it from. It's too much. Well, all right, 2 more questions and they got to go. I'm telling you, they got things they got to do. They got a life. It's they might have it might be date night for them or something. It's no people anyway. All right. What you got? Writersthefuture.com, galaxypress.com. Yes, I don't even have to ask them that. I know them by heart. Yes, it's matter of fact, when my next set of cards come out with my radio station designs on them, I'll have them put on the other side. I do double-sided cards. That way y'all can just say here. And they'll be like, who the hell is this? What do you mean? Oh, $1 a card? If they give me $1 card, I'll print a couple million. Just what are you talking about? $1? Oh, you'll charge me $1? No, that's not going to happen. Oh, man, we got a weird group in tonight. Yes, we did. Emily's the big boss. John just thinks he's the big boss. Emily's the big boss.
Pretty much.
Yes. And then Emily thinks she's big boss, but Joni's really the big boss. Emily's not going for that, but still. No, Joni is, I don't know what the hell you call Joni. I really don't. Joni is just a
She's the
whirlwind.
contest director.
Yes, she's the whirlwind. Just, yes.
Yeah.
She's the other whirlwind. So sometimes when you're like standing in the lobby, you see these 2 winds go like, shh. Like, what the hell is that? Whoop, there went Joni, there went Emily. It's like spinning tops, buddy. Where they going? It's actually quite it's quite interesting to watch and kind of funny at the same time. But they just nonstop. They're working their asses off all the time. Yes.
Yes. Joni runs the contest, and then Emily has the contest as well as all the other
All the other stuff.
library of L. Ron Hubbard as well. So she's the vice president of PR, and then Joni is one of her juniors in there. And Claude's another one of her juniors.
Yes, yeah, Claude. I love Claude. I finally got some good pictures of Claude finally too. Yeah. It's and I met Jason's dad.
Oh yeah, he's
Yes.
a real sweetie.
He's a sweetie pie. I'm gonna torture Jason next time I see him now. I got some goods on him. I said, why don't you tell me about Jason here, Dad? It's a long ride to the airport.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm evil. Just you already should know that, people. Come on. Yes. No, he's a very nice guy. He really was.
Mike's his name.
Yes. What? Where? Who? No. Submit. That's all you can do. You can only say. Now for the you mean the podcast award? No, you get your ass over there and vote. That's a whole different thing. That's People's Choice Podcast Awards. You go vote. I know y'all want to hear bitching. Oh, you heard me have to bitch all this past year, didn't you? And then I still remember. So Janine calls me. She goes, "I'm going to buy you the runners-up trophy." I said, "No, you're not. I want to get runners-up trophy." And I've got enough of them laying around different places in my house. No, I want. Yes, I want the real one. I want the big one. I want the one like the guy got on stage with a gay lady walking around like, "God damn, can I master this thing off the stage?" Y'all think I'm kidding? Y'all here to wrestle that thing off the stage. That thing is big.
It's big.
Even the one that's smaller, the smaller version, is still pretty heavy.
Yeah.
The big one's just like heavy. Well, you know, he's a little older, so he's not that much older than me, but he's a couple of years. It's but he was cracking me up when we were talking on that night. John, you'd have loved it. He was having a good time, and we were talking. I said, "You must have just loved this." And he wanted to get like, and then he just couldn't help. He had to crack big smiles. Y'all should watch that interview just to see what it feels like to win something big, because that's one of the reasons to go out there right there. No, I don't know who the big winners are. Somebody asked me that at the day before the event. "Joe, you know who it is?" I said, "Nope." I said, "They're not telling me nothing." I said, "You can forget that."
Either the judges. Don't.
No, that's what I said. I said, "As far as I know, nobody knows." I said, "Except for whoever's doing it." And they're like, You know everything." I said, "I don't know that." I said, I don't even ask, to be honest with you. I said, "I want to be surprised like everybody else."
The judges don't know either. I mean, when they open the envelope, that's when they find out who the winner is.
Because when we were talking at dinner the other day, and I was like,
even the script, even the event script, that is around with the production people and everything, it says that the grand prize winners are like Winnie the Pooh and Scooby Doo.
they don't want anybody to know.
Envelope, and then you find out when they open it.
That's right. It's it's who? I thought that too. I'm not gonna lie. The chick in the red dress, I thought she was, and then I realized she's just a girl running back and forth. But when I first seen her, she looked the way she was dressed. I said, "Maybe who the hell is this chick?" And then somebody else asked me at the table I was sitting at, "Who is she?" And I was like, "I don't know." And then I realized she was going back and forth getting shit. I'm like, "Well, we're just dumbasses is what we are."
You're talking about the trophy girl?
Cheyenne.
Yeah, the trophy girl. Yeah, Cheyenne.
Sweetheart.
Yeah. Hey, Trish.
Hey.
Trisha.
That's Emily and that's John, and not necessarily in that order, but still that's Emily and John.
I've met John before, but yes, and I've heard of you, Emily.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
when I met John, so it's nice to meet you all.
To meet
The
you.
infamous Emily. That's what we're gonna go by from now on.
Thanks, John.
Actually, no, you know. Oh my gosh, Christopher, what? And because I gotta go. Okay, we got 3 minutes and we already ran over 15. So what? Who? Never heard of. You'd have to spell her name. I had what's her name? Let me call her Hilda. So because I couldn't say her other name.
Are you talking about Gunhild?
Gunhild. It's a Gunhilda. Gunhilda.
Just
Gunhild.
I said, "Don't smack me in the head." She started laughing. Everybody here is great. No, I know y'all have heard me say this a million times, and I'm still waiting. I am still waiting. I'm not gonna lie, but so far I've been disappointed. Nothing's jumped out or ate me or threw me upside down or nothing. So,
I must have missed something.
well, I always get asked about this contest, and for the last 4 seasons I've been like, "No, that's just exactly what it says it is." And people are so weird because I'm usually kind of negative about some things, and they're like, "No way, you're hiding something." I'm like, "No, what?" So I went there as a reporter. I said I couldn't find anything to report. I said other than the event itself. I said I'm still scared. I'm waiting for somebody to come out with some knives or one of them anvils like in the cartoons or something. But no, they're really. I don't want John's head to swell any bigger than it is, but I mean, they're just really, really nice people.
You're saying you've got a big head?
I'm saying you've been hanging out with Emily too much. No, they are really, really nice people. I've said this 100 times because people ask me other questions, and I'm like, I said, they're just, I actually didn't realize. I told them this when I got there this year. I actually didn't realize how much I missed them until I seen them. And because I get to talk to them from time to time, like I caught up with them at Fan X and I caught them on the Dragon Con and stuff like that. But it's not the same thing. Well, because I get to spend some time with them this year, not as much as usual, but there's a lot going on, people. I don't think y'all understand until you win. or get invited, I don't think you understand how much stuff goes on around it. It is insanely crazy. And everybody is, and this is what kills me. Everybody's running around like the chicken with the head cut off, basically. It's very organized and everybody's very nice. How they that nice is beyond me. There's a couple times I would have turned around and said, why don't you leave me alone? I'm just being honest about it. But they're just good people. Yeah, anytime you can maintain, because I mean, first off, they don't know none of these winners. Yeah, I mean, they're basically meeting these winners. I mean, they've talked to them on the phone and stuff. They really don't know who these people are until they get there. You don't never, when someone shows up, you're kind of like, oh, okay, this is what kind of person they are, or this is what kind of person they are, or oh shit, what happened here? But I mean, really, and now I don't have to deal with the winners at that kind of way. So I'm just doing interviews, but so far, and I've lost track now. I've met 50 winners altogether, and I don't know how many judges, but out of all the interviews I've done, which is somewhere in maybe 38 or 39, might even be 40. None of them ever said anything negative at all. And plus, and Jonathan can't hear this, but the few times that we've all had BarCon together, no one said anything negative. And that to me is more important than anything else, because we're all sitting around drinking. Everybody's very relaxed. Everybody's just talking about the event or talking about this or talking about that or talking about this. And no one said even made any cracks, which is unusual. Usually, people naturally bitch. And for some reason here they don't.
Well, there
They're
you
all
go.
on the same page there.
Yeah, I could record the whole event, but why would I do that? Yeah, no. I actually thought about bringing a big camera with me this year, just walking around, but I want to make everybody nervous, right? Yeah. Well, I got one it's a movie camera is what it is. Yeah, it's just made for making movies. It's got a built-in Zoom audio and stuff like that, but it's too much for there. Besides, the airport's going to swear I'm carrying a bomb anyway, so it's bad enough. These mics, like this one and the white one, they take them out of there. What are them, boy? Every time I've flown with these things, especially the white one, what is that?
One of those too.
Yeah, see, they're like, what is that? I'm like,
yeah.
If I put it in my suitcase, no big deal.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If I put it in my carry-on, oh my God, I'm coming to blow up the airplane. It's the guy cracked me up in New Orleans. He said, what is that? I said, it's a microphone. No, man. He said, that's a microphone. I said, so's that. That's a microphone too. It's even the same company. It's just a different size, anyway. Yes. So we're going to go. I'm going to let them get out of here so I can torture Trish. WritersOfTheFuture.com, GalaxyPress.com. If you want the book, GalaxyPress.com.
Yep.
If you want to submit, WritersOfTheFuture.com.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you heard that comment. So you mean the Wolfpack? You just got to be good to get in there. I don't know what else to tell you. It doesn't. I can't get you invited. No, it doesn't work that way.
To get it, the easiest way to get started on that on the Wolfpack is to join the Rise of the Future forum, because Wolf Moon's in there quite a bit.
Yeah.
So you get in there and you start building relationships, and then that's how you make it in.
So go to writersofthefuture.com, because that's where you can watch the event. You can enter the contest. You can find out about the books. You can find out about the forum. You can listen to the podcast. You
can take the course.
Yeah.
You can take the course.
Future.com.
So I decided about this damn course now. Since I'm writing this thing about the event, I'm going to put that as my story for the course so I can finish this thing.
Good.
Really
Love to see you finish.
That way, well, people, before anybody gets smart ass out there, okay, it's only been like 3 years now, but so I got all the way through it, and then you got to write this, and I'm like, no, I ain't writing nothing. And then I thought about this other thing I was working on that Emily talked me into working on. And I was thinking, when I finally finish this thing, I'm going to print it all out on a printer, stuck in a big vanilla envelope, and I'm sending it addressed to Emily Goodwin. Please. She'll kill me next time she sees me. Grammar alone will be enough for her to shoot me. She'll probably give it to somebody. Read this damn thing and tell me what's wrong with it. No, I'm serious, guys. But the course is great. I learned a lot out of the course, and then fortunately for me, I've got to spend some really quality time with some of these judges, and I've learned quite a bit. I mean, I've learned enough that I can actually sit down and write something for a change without sticking myself or blocking my own brain or getting stuck on stupid stuff. Most of the stupid stuff I've learned how to get out of my way. And like Dean and Kevin told me, just write the damn thing and then go back over it. I was like, all right, that works for me.
Yeah.
And so, it's just pieces of advice you're not going to get anywhere else. So meet these guys and girls and learn how to be a professional author or a professional illustrator and go change the world, because I'm looking for some new sci-fi.
Absolutely.
So that's all I can tell y'all. Get out there. And if you win, you'll get the pleasure of meeting John and Emily in person. They're very nice people. And you'll get interviewed by them and by us, and you'll have a good time. I'm not going to say you're not going to work your ass off, but you're going to have a good time. It's fun. Even it's just all I can tell you is it's fun. I've talked to enough of the winners now that they are enjoying themselves. It's organized chaos. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, guys and girls, thanks for everybody hanging out with us. John, thanks for y'all stopping by. I know we'll be seeing us soon because we got to get our podcast awards out there and win.
That's right.
I was thinking maybe we could use Emily to win them this year.
Oh.
Emily's like, wait a minute. She's like, what's this evil bastard got on his mind? Nothing nefarious. But anyway, we'll talk about that at another night.
Okay, good. Well,
Thanks.
thank you very much. And people listening, absolutely do get this book. We also want to be able to come out the starting gates with a national bestseller for all the winners. It helps. It's a great start to their careers. Obviously, it helps us because if we sell more books, that gets us the money set aside for next year's event, and which we're already starting the planning on. I've got the UK's biggest swing dance bands coming out, and they're opening the show this year.
Next year.
They're amazing. They're totally amazing. The Jive Aces, and we'll talk about that more later.
I did. On my Alexa, I have different dates set, right? So it counts it down. So Alexa, I drive my wife crazy when I'll do shit like, how many days to Christmas, Alexa? Well, I got y'all on the list too, but it's kind of funny. But guys and girls, speaking of that, before I let y'all go, we have a new Alexa listing on for the station now. So I don't know when it goes in effect, but it's a new one they're going to put up there for both stations, actually. And it'll also list our Roku channel as well. So if y'all want to look for us, I think the guy said within 5 or 6 days, you'll be able to look for us on Amazon through Alexa. So if you want to just say, hey, Alexa, find this station, find UFO Paranormal, find United Public Radio, you should be able to find us and listen to us via Alexa.
That's really cool.
Awesome.
So that's another way you can find us. I'm losing count these days of where you can get us. But John and Emily, good things. I'm glad always talking to y'all. Always have a good time chatting with y'all too. Trish, tell them hi and bye and nice to meet you and all that good stuff.
Bye. You as well.
Yes, I brought Trisha to torture her tonight, so you know how that works.
I've been. Oh man, yeah. I've been in tornado weather all day. So.
Yeah, because you live out there in the flatlands in Kansas.
Yeah, I think there was like 20 some tornadoes today. One was right by our house.
I was born in St. Joseph's Hospital in Wichita and grew up in Dale, and then came out to Arizona. But I have family all over Kansas.
So you know how it gets this time of year.
Yeah.
It's been particularly bad already though. This storm season, it's been. I mean, today it was hitting. It was all around us, and then finally got to Kansas. It was Nebraska had numerous tornadoes, Colorado, Oklahoma, even all the way down to Louisiana. So I hope.
Where are you?
I'm in the northeastern part near Topeka. But we had quite a few come down from Nebraska today. So.
Wow, that's rough.
Like living in a hurricane place. It's safer. It's safer than out there with them volcanoes. It's safer than them earthquakes, and it's safer than them damn tornadoes. I only got to worry about it 3 months out of the year. That's it, and then I can always.
Yeah, man, Kansas. We have blizzards. We have ice storms, hailstorms. Thunder, snow. We've got tornadoes. We've got flooding. I'm moving to the coast. I swear.
You're in Kansas. There's no place like home.
There's no place like home. I'm just gonna let that go.
I made a shirt that said that, and it was in front of a haunted house one time because I was like, that's basically, the whole thing's fallen down, and they don't call it Bleeding Kansas for nothing. That's what it reminds me of.
Actually, Pete, as John and Emma leave, and I'll play the first 2 minutes of the awards event. I know you bugged me about it earlier, so I'm gonna pull it up. Matter of fact, I had it up earlier for something else, but since put that on there like that, boom, look at that. I like all of that. Guys, love having y'all on as usual. Let me cue this up for this. Be like an exit for them. How nice. Look at this. Oh my God, we're getting fancy tonight.
Welcome to the 39th anniversary of the L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers and Illustrators of the Future. And for our thousands of internet viewers worldwide,
look at that dragon.
we have gathered this evening at the Taglin Complex in Hollywood, California.
Yep. That's the teaser. That's the first 2 minutes. Go ahead and check it out.
That little
was-
performance goes with one of the stories.
Yes, it does. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Let me go ahead.
That's it.
No, so go check it out, guys. That's just the opening. That's before anything's going on. It was a lot of fun watching it. The guy that y'all was watching, he gets a little crazy in here a little while. So you want to go
Starts
check
running
it
and
out.
hopping and flipping and all kinds of stuff. He's
Yeah.
great.
Yes, it is. But it was a actually I enjoyed it. It was a kind of a surprise. So that's what I'm saying. We don't know what's going on. We just when we find out when we get there, like everybody else does.
Right.
So yes, there you go. You can go check it out, ladies and gents. Just click on play and sit back and enjoy it. It's a lot of fun to watch, and well, just that alone is fun to watch. That's a couple of first few minutes of it, and then they get to come out and start talking, and then we get to see lovely John up there. I should say lovely Emily and handsome John. Sorry, I got that backwards. And it doesn't matter, people. No, it's a great event. Just go check it out, and you'll have fun and you'll enjoy it. The dragon is from
The Fire
Tom
Dragon.
Wood. He did and who did the story? Kevin did, right? Yeah, okay.
Kevin J. Anderson.
Yeah. So he did the story. Well, there's a separate story with the dragon. We're not talking about the stories in the anthology. We're just talking about the story. There was a story with the dragon.
Yeah.
Yes, with the actual artwork. So you'll have to go in there and read it yourself. And you have to get the book and read it. I'm not going to read it to you. Get the
Okay, good. Well,
Hi.
guys again. Thanks for hanging out with us.
great. Thank you. Okay, bye bye.
Bye-bye, guys.
Night, Tricia.
Good night.
Stay
Good
safe.
night.
All the tornadoes there.
Yeah.
If I start
Yes.
seeing her getting swirling around in a room, I'm gonna be like, "Oh shit!"
Okay, great. Okay, thank you very much, Joe.
No problem, guys. You have a good night.
Yeah, you
Good
too. Okay, bye bye.
Okay, and so Trish, how are you? How's life besides Tornado Alley?
It's been crazy. I have had the craziest last few weeks. I tell you.
Yes, life sometimes can be a real, you know what. I don't want to say bad words on air, but still, it can be.
It's been good and bad. I've been on the road. I've been through and I decided since I was taking my time, just some random, I didn't even know where I was going, just driving. We went through tons of little towns. I love it when you get off the beaten path, like off major highways, and you actually take longer routes and have to go through little towns and everything, because there are so many things in Kansas I didn't even know existed, for that matter. So sometimes it's good, I guess.
Yeah, I like it. We down here they started over the last I don't know, last 10 or 15 years, they started making these traces now, these little routes connecting all the old little funky cities that are 100 years, 200
Yeah.
years old. And now these old cities, because they're getting influx of money, are fixing themselves up. And they got nice food,
Yep.
nice shops. And so you can cruise. It's, last time we were out on Route 66 a while back in, where were we? Was it Nevada? I don't know. We were somewhere out west, and I had noticed we had taken a little tour on it, and they had done the same thing. They had fixed up a lot of their old diners and stuff like that. Were nice, and they cleaned them up, and things were. Actually, Jimmy, the best chili hamburger I ever had was at the Great Divide. It's off of Interstate. Is it 2040? I got to think it's 20. Interstate 20. So there's Interstate 10, then there's Interstate 20, which is the northern part. It runs across the northern part of like Texas and New Mexico and places like that. But anyway, we was crossing the Great Divide and had this little gas station / restaurant thing. It was a pretty big restaurant, so I was starving. I hadn't even seen a damn gas station in like 200 miles. So I said, "Well, we'll fill up the car, get a snack." Man, it freaking was great scenery and a great hamburger. I was just impressed. Yes, it is brave eating chili dogs on the highway, but chili hamburgers on the highway. But it's no, the food was good. I think it's just called the Continental Divide, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think that was the name of the place. We've seen all kind of Indian stuff up there, but it's different for me because there's a lot of Indian reservations in the South, and there's a lot of Indian powwows in the South. So we see a lot of Indians.
I should correct. He is referring to Native American.
That's right. That's a good
Thank you.
point. Yes, I don't want y'all thinking I'm thinking about Indians from India. No. Like cowboys and Indians? I don't know about all that.
Oh, so that's what I wanted to do this week, and I was actually I might do it next week and go live and stuff while I'm there. I wanted to go. It was really crowded though for some reason to spend a while in Dodge City. You know, they've got the Old West, like all the old saloons. They've got the original Boot Hill before it was moved to Tucson. They've got everybody dresses like in that era, like 1800s. Yeah. They've got the old boardwalks and everything. So I was going to go spend some time there. There's supposed to be a lot of really, there's a lot of native burial grounds, but there's also just a lot of history. Kansas has a lot of history because it was like the midway point when the trains started, you know, between the east, well, all the directions actually, both coasts and the north and the south, Canada and Mexico. So
yeah, it was nice and flat.
Yeah,
makes it easy to lay rail.
They came through here. Yep.
Let's come on, throw stop. You know, Christopher, I don't remember, but yeah, I know the Chinese built a lot of the railroad, not all of it, but they built a lot of it. But you're talking.
They founded many of the bigger towns in Kansas too.
Well, you'll see it in a lot of the old westerns. You'll see them in there. They're part of the western movies. They were trying to be authentic, so you'll see it in a lot of the old westerns. Not so much the new ones, but the old ones, yeah. Well, you know, that's been a topic for news conversations for decades. And when we have really a more serious show, we'll get into it. But frankly, you know, stuff like that is well, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you correct all the mistakes of America's past. So, you know, we made a lot of mistakes as a young nation, and I don't think we can actually correct every mistake we made. All we can do
I don't think they, you know, I think every nation has, but the thing is, we have opportunities. We repeat the same things over and over, and I think every time we grow from it a little bit. You know, well, some things. I just read this meme, which is hilarious, about vehicles, and it said, you know, we think we've made all this progress with technology in the world and everything, and you look at an owner's manual to a vehicle from like the 1940s, 50s, and it tells you how to replace like a valve or you know, things like that, something really pretty detailed and difficult. And now the owner's manual has to warn us not to drink the battery acid instead, you know, the contents of the battery. So it's like we're It's like we're
We become
reverting.
dumb. Yeah, we've just
Yeah, we've dumbed ourselves down.
well, and sometimes it's not even that. I think sometimes they're just trying to dumb us down because most people know better than to stick your finger in a freaking battery. Now, today it's a little
I don't
different.
know. I don't know if they do or not. Honest to
Oh
God,
no! Now,
I
once you get below, say the millennials sort of do. I don't know if the Z Geners know anything. They're still busy smoking weed and staying high and having fun.
and
And,
eating
and I
Tide Pods.
and eating Tide Pods. I'm not hating on you, Z Geners, because look, every generation was effed up when it was young. So don't get all offended when people pick on you about being woke or pick on you. Every generation's got to go through it. The baby boomers were nuts. Okay, look at them. They were rioting. You think y'all were bad? You think you X-Geners and millennials were bad out there with your BLM? It's shit. You ain't got nothing on them people out burning bras, tearing down cities. No, look, it was bad. Every generation's got their thing.
See, I'm lucky because I'm almost, oh my gosh, I'm almost 42, but so I'm in the generation that the ones before me were all those hippies and the era that was burning things down and stuff. So they don't really
You're an
judge us
X
too much.
generator. Yeah, you're an
There's
X
not-
gener.
yeah.
X-Geners claim to fame
And
is now is thrown
even
out on
when
the
I
sidewalk and made
graduated,
dirt. You know that, right? That's their claim to fame. Mom threw me out on a
I
porch and made
didn't
me eat
know
dirt.
that.
Yes, they were technically
Um,
they're the last generation that didn't grow up on pure technology. The millennials and the Z Geners did, but
yes.
the X Geners didn't always have.
Even in school, well, I graduated in 99, so we were the last class of the 1900s, and that was like, Y2K, the world was going to end, and that's pretty much when it all started. We didn't even have, I didn't have a cell phone until probably 2000 something, and I
A
don't
lot
even
of
think
people did.
internet wasn't even that big back then.
No, I remember having a pager one time. I was like, "What am I supposed to do with this thing?" And then all
Well,
it was something for people to bug me with. So I wish I would have never got it. And then and I remember the first time I seen a real cell phone. A friend of mine's dad pulls up in his car. It's just it looks like a princess phone built into the car with a big
yeah, car
antenna on the
phones.
roof. And I mean, this thing had a big cord on it and stuff. It was just a big phone stuck in the car. I was like, wow. I mean, it was cool though for you had a car phone. And then that's what they were. They were car phones. They weren't
Then
cell
they
phones.
went to the big briefcase ones, didn't they?
Yeah,
Like
they
that you
did.
could take out of the car, but it was
Yeah,
huge. It was
it
a
was
big,
huge. It kind of, and then they had the big sat phones, and which were also huge.
yeah,
And then somebody invented the flip phone, the Captain Kirk phone, and that shit took
yeah.
off like a freaking rocket, man. Everybody wanted a flip phone. Even today, a lot of
Nokia,
people,
the Razor.
and
Yeah.
still even today, a lot of people want these flip phones. I don't want a flip phone. Actually, I get aggravated with the phone I got.
I kind of want a flip phone. Razor is supposed to be coming out with a new, like an updated flip phone, because that was really big back. To those that don't know, that was like the iPhone of my generation. They had waiting lists. Remember when that came out, and you couldn't get one in the United States, anyways.
well, they got the razor that flips this way, and then they got the razor that flips this way. So they
Yeah.
got one that opens up like this, and one that opens up like this. And we were looking at them just recently because my future daughter-in-law wants one, and I pay their phone bill. So we were looking at them just recently. They're nice phones. Only for me, I don't mind a flip, but if it's got a crease in the screen, that's just seems like something that's going to be a problem somewhere down the line.
Damn it, you're gonna have to adopt me, Joe. That's it.
And, well, I get a good deal on them, so I can't say that. It really only comes out to when I'm not paying for phones. It only comes out to $25 a line because I get a military discount. But it's so yeah, people. It's what I pay for T-Mobile is $98 a month for insurances, phones, and everything. It's now when I got phones on, it's different. It's probably about another $40 a month. But that's why I left AT&T. I was paying like $270 with AT&T.
I was paying like
stupid with
$185 for two phones.
Yeah, I
Like
mean, they got
and
stupid with
I
that
was
crap.
with them forever, and they're like, well, no, that rate is only for new customers. I'm like, what? That doesn't make any damn sense. Why are you going to give new customers a better deal than your loyal whatever?
Yeah.
I don't
That's
get
why
it.
I ended up leaving because I said, you're not going to give me for retention to keep me around. I'm out of here. And but CT Mobile's on my list right now because everybody else keeps wanting to give me 4 new phones for free and the same line price I got now. And I want new phones. And then T-Mobile was like, no, we're not going to give you no new phones. We're going to charge you for them. I said, well, you probably just lost a customer. It's a shame, but most of my friends change companies about every 2 or 3 years because you can get all new, brand new phones. And right now they want to give you
Yep.
the Samsung 22, which is really nice. 128 gigs of memory, 12 cores. Man, the thing is nice. And I mean, it's all around. It's got a nice screen on it. It does everything you could possibly want a phone to do. And the difference between Apple and Android is most of your apps are going to be free on your Android, whereas at Apple, you're going to pay for them. And a lot of times,
Yes.
Apple even wants a subscription. So I'm like, no.
Yep.
Well, I'm funny about putting apps on my phone.
And iPhone, every time I do the updates, it screws up my phone like forever. And every time I buy a new, which I keep a phone forever, basic. I don't even use half the shit on my phone. So I keep a phone forever, and then every time, but when I do get a new one, then you have to change everything because Apple changes the chargers, the headphones, the earphones, every accessory, your
Well,
outlet, everything.
now there's nothing even plug in hardly into Apple anymore. Well, Samsung got the same way now. They don't, there's nothing. Everything's wireless, and so if you want to have earbuds or something like this, nothing plugged in anymore. It's all wireless. And people are like, great. I said, yeah, but you know what? I don't always mind having. I mean, this one's plugged in right now. I mean, I don't mind having it in my ear.
I don't
And
like Bluetooth. It gives me headaches. And
it
it's
does
actually
me too.
known to be really bad for your brain. So
It does too. Plus, they only have limited life a lot of times. They may die in the middle of a show or something. And then all the jabbers and all them, they want to build the mics. And well, I don't want the mic. I got a freaking big $100 mic right here. Well, I don't want that crappy ass mic on there. And then you got to go find it on your computer and turn it off. And then you can't even disable it on your phone. So you're kind of like, nah, I don't know. So I'm not exactly thrilled with all of them. What you got? My son used to have one of them big monster 7-inch phones. Yeah, it was like this long and this wide. It was like, yeah, it was huge. It was a
I
huge phone.
had I had the Nokia. Everybody knows the brick, like the Nokia, the fat, like little. Every college student, every poor college student had one because, and nobody could text me unless it was an absolute emergency before 9 o'clock, because texts were like 10 cents a text.
No,
or
yeah,
something.
they used to charge for all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But it was free to call after 9. It didn't use your minutes. So my poor college friends and I, that I was also at the time, we couldn't communicate until after 9 o'clock p.m. So,
boy, AT&T must have hated when cell phones went to free long distance.
Oh my goodness!
Because they made a fortune off. I got my ass in trouble a couple of times over long distance calls.
Oh,
and you get your phone bill $500. I'm like, what?
Yeah, in high school, my boyfriend was in a different town, so I always got in trouble, always, for long distance fees.
Yeah, so now all long distance is free. Even a lot of countries are free now. I notice on my phone I can call Canada and Mexico. It doesn't cost me anything. In Europe, is pennies on the dollar. So, which a lot of times they don't charge me over there. It depends where I'm calling. I don't know, but people, you can send me a free cell phone. I need a good cell phone. Yes, where is mine? I can't even find mine. It's around here somewhere. It's a crappy Apple 12. It's the crappiest phone I've ever had. I'm sorry, Apple. It's the crappiest phone I've ever had. I mean,
mine was too. Yeah.
I don't know why. It just, you can't even use it in my house. It doesn't. Now my son can be here with his, my wife with hers, and man, works great. Mine's like nope. So sooner or later, I'm going to update it into something better. AT&T, T-Mobile says, "Oh, we'll give you $350 credit." And I'm like, I said, "And how much you going to charge me for the new one?" I said, "Yeah, that's what I thought." So it's going to be like another $500. They're going to give me $300 off and charge me $500 more. I'm like, "Now you can keep your phone." I want free phones. You should never have to pay for a new phone, people. They don't pay a lot of money for those phones. And trust me, they're making it up in their service, man. I mean, you shouldn't have to pay for them phones. And if you did, you should be at a discounted rate for sure.
I told my kids I'm getting a landline and I'm getting an old hamburger phone. Do you remember that? Like from the 80s?
Yeah, I remember. There was a lot of weird phones in the 80s. I mean, there was a lot of weird phones.
Yeah, they have the lip ones too, like the Kiss.
They had the Rolling Stones phone, which was a big pair of lips, basically. they had a bunch of different kind of phones. Matter of fact, we had a rocket phone in the house, a space phone, and we had an astronaut phone, and then aunts and them had some kind of weird bug phone. My sister had them princess phones, but not the kind that you'd use. I mean, these are like little princesses, and not like the normal princess phone. And then we had a couple of them old school phones that looked like the kind you would used to have to wind up. I was like,
Yep.
that's enough of that. And then somebody came up with the cordless phone for your house. I was like, well, this is cool, man. You can walk around your house cordless. I used to always see how far
Until
I
it
could get away.
died because
Yeah.
everybody left it off the hook or off the charger.
Let it laying around and stuff. And then they started selling them where it was 4 phones that you could have in your house. I was like, wow, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that was cool. And then the cell phone.
I remember the first time I was able to have one in my room. Like my dad worked for a phone company, so he could just, install a new jack anywhere, and because he knew how to do that. So, the first time I had one in my room, I was probably like 14. That was the coolest thing in the world. I finally got my own phone in my room where I could talk to my friends without my parents listening. Well, I mean, technically they still could, but
yeah, but you know.
my grandma had a party line still.
Oh God, I remember those. I hated those. I barely remember them, but I remember my aunt. The phone rings one day, and I went to answer the phone, and I couldn't have been 8 or 9 at the time, and I'm like, "What the hell? Why don't I hear somebody on the phone?" And then I realized my dad said, "We ain't getting no more of this." But the phone company determined who got him and who didn't, because he didn't want him. He said, "I'll pay extra if we're gonna have a regular phone." They're like, "No, your area has to have this type of phone." And it was like a year or two, and then all of a sudden they kind of faded out a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. But it sucks because somebody could be listening to your conversation.
Yeah.
And not anybody you knew either. There's just some
It
random stranger.
reminds me of kind of how a lot like how mediums work. I was thinking about that one day. I'm like, it's like a party line, because sometimes you get a relayed message. It's literally like the telephone game. Like it comes down the line, and could be your neighbor, could be someone down the street.
Now, I'll tell you what I used to like.
Speaking of which,
What?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I found it's, I will have to go there and take pictures of it, because the first people who started doing research on an actual spirit phone, I believe it was in Texas. It was either, I don't know if it was Texas A&M or the University of Texas, but I know, and people are probably going to write you and be like, she doesn't know the difference. What? No, I just don't. I know the difference.
Right to Trish.
I know the difference. I just don't know which one of them was doing the research and actually has evidence for this and everything. They created a spirit phone, which is basically, a phone for people to connect to loved ones who have passed on. So this guy, completely unrelated to Texas, created a phone booth in Olathe, Kansas. And it's basically the same concept, a spirit phone. He said it was after someone in his family passed away, and he wanted a way to just, even if it doesn't work for everyone per se, even if they don't, it's still, it's like I guess the fact that you can go somewhere and sit, it's in front of a lake. It's this, it's a peaceful setting. You can sit in front of the lake in this phone booth and basically have a conversation with someone who's passed on, whether they actually answer or not. So kind of a cool concept, though.
It is kind of a weird concept, kind of strange. It's, well, I've heard so many different weird things, and some of them old phones, them really old black phones, those dial phones, you hear some weird shit on them sometimes. I guess because of the distortion that would come over them, sometimes you would hear some weird stuff on them. It was a very strange thing to start off with. You mean cell phones, Bruce? Cell phones is boring. There ain't nothing, no ghosties even want to get in your cell phone. You're probably scared they'll never get out the damn thing. It's too complicated. They're like, whatever. The old rotary dial phones, they just get in there and you dial them and probably squish the ghost while you're dialing it with the rotary dial. Probably piss him off. It's I don't know, it's weird. I know some of y'all too young to know what a rotary dial phone is, okay? But in the old days, you used to have to stick your finger in this little hole and go and let it go, and it go, and you do it again,
Yeah.
8 times, 9 times. I mean, it depends on what you were calling. Y'all think I'm kidding you? Look, you damn millennials.
Most people don't know how to use. Yeah, most people do not know how to use those.
Yes, they're rotary dial. Matter of fact, some of the old ones were really stiff. Man, you would try to fight it to make it go faster. Now it would just take its time because it went back around. Yeah, you'd put your finger at 8 and you go all the way around, and it'd stop and you'd let go and it'd come all the way back. Yes, it's a rotary dial phone. I don't know what to tell you.
That just reminded me of this magazine I saw while waiting. I was in line at like Walmart or something that I just sent you.
Yeah, just
so,
poor Charles.
Well, so that's the thing though. So it's interesting to me. You know, a lot of people, when traumatic things happen in their lives, they start kind of, especially if they're isolated or anything, they start kind of getting more into spirituality. You know how it is, Joe, and but it's funny to me that they still, you know, consider, they say he has mental illness problems because he's talking to plants and his dead uncle. See, to me, that's normal, but not.
Like, well, I just seen who sent me this earlier. Somebody had seen Harry and I guess the dad's having a final falling out. It was here it is. Harry makes unprecedented move against Charles, the Royal Observers. So is this one of these Inquirer type things, or is this something real? Prince Harry legal pursuits against the Associated Newspaper and the news groups or a headache for Charles. Why? Because he's suing a newspaper. Get over it, Charles. Unfortunately, Bo, you know, Harry's just Harry. He's not even your kid, so what are you worried about it for? See, that's what I would do. If I was Charles, I would just come out and say, you know what? I think I want a DNA test, Harry, to see if you're going to inherit anything. Because honestly, that ain't his kid.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
I would bet money. I would put money on that's not his kid. That is the horse guy's kid.
I'm that person in my family. Like, I'm the only redhead. I'm like redheaded stepchild.
No, see, in their family, gingers are a normal color, so that's not a big deal. In the royal family, it goes back a long ways. So that's not the big deal. But if you've ever seen her horse, the guy was her horse instructor, they look like Bobbsey twins. I mean,
really?
Oh yeah, that's his kid. There ain't even no doubt about it. And when they were showing him with side by side pictures, you don't look nothing like Charles. He looks just like him and Diane.
And I was researching them a long time ago in college, I believe, and I read something somewhere. I don't know if this is true. Again, it was probably, but there was something that said he couldn't, after William, he couldn't have any more kids, or something happened. I don't know. Something happened, and so then when she got pregnant with Harry, it was like, oh, well, that's a surprise, you know. But
that was a big surprise. They were kind of
right.
like, it's hold on, let me see if I can find it right quick. Let's see. We'll try it this way. Prince Harry's real dad. Let's see what it comes up.
No.
Let's see if it comes up with Charles. There it is. Like Charles III. Prince Harry's Duke. No, he's not Duke anymore. He's the king now, guys. Sorry. Let's see, though. James Hidwit is what most things say is his dad. So when you pull this up, this James Hewitt, Hewitt, almost
Hewitt.
Yeah, that's almost all the articles are. Oh, Jesus. Oh man,
wow.
He looks just like this guy. He's. I wonder if it'll let me pull these up. Let's see right quick. Let's present. Oh, stop screen. Let's see if it'll let us pull this up. Let's see. Where are we? Sharing screen. Will it? Nope. I guess it ain't gonna let me pull it up. Huh? Must be because it's not on. Let's try this a different way. For some reason, StreamYard does not like Microsoft Edge. It's fine with Google all day long, but it don't like Microsoft Edge for some reason. I don't know what that's about. Let's see if we can find this right quick. Okay.
So I typed it in Bing AI because this is a new one that I like to see. It just, with Bing AI, it doesn't come up with its own answers, I guess. It actually, scans the internet like most of them should or whatever. But anyways, this one says, Prince Harry's father is Prince Charles III. There have been rumors that James Hewitt is his biological father, but Prince Harry has publicly denied this.
I bet
And that
he
is from
has.
edinburghnews.scotsman.com, independent.co.uk, Cosmopolitan. Obviously, that one's not very
So let's see. This
credible.
is. Let's see right here. Let's get these up there. Yeah, whatever.
Oh
That's
my
his
gosh,
dad.
they do look
That's his
alike.
freaking daddy, man. Ain't even no doubt that's his daddy. Oh my god, he don't look nothing like Charles. Oh man, it's something. Plus, he's got all of his hair.
Yeah, but this one though, their smile is
I know.
exactly
I
the
know.
same.
It's creepy. Let's see. Let's pull this one up and see what we got here. Oh, that one's not as good, but it's still pretty good. It's
This one's good. This is one from, I believe, Cosmo.
oh yeah, this is a good one. And there's his daddy. He don't look nothing like his daddy. I don't know what anybody's talking about here. Oh my god.
The one I say, it's their smile.
That's you sent me. It'll come up in a
Exactly
minute.
alike. It's exactly alike. Oh
Oh
my
yeah,
goodness.
I've seen this one too. It won't let me put it over there for some reason, but yeah, I mean, look at him. I mean, it's just there ain't no doubt who his daddy is. See, I'm telling you, if I was Charles, I'd be like, son, you're gonna take go give some DNA to somebody. I'm not feeling that you're my child.
And they say it can't be because James and Diana met years after Harry was born. Okay, well, obviously they wouldn't make that public.
Well, that's not what her friend said. Her friend said he was her riding instructor from before she met the prince.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, obviously, if she did get pregnant by him, then they would act like they hadn't met, previously.
It's yeah, it's just, and I mean, you can look at the brothers. Look, they don't even look that much alike. So you can tell he's definitely Charles's kid. This guy is not.
He definitely looks. Yeah, he even the premature balding and stuff too.
Yeah, it's just, but I mean, look at the shapes of their face. I mean, I'm sorry, guys. And see, when you get into these young pictures, if you'll let me put them up there, let's see.
Yeah, it says it's a fact that in 1986, just 2 years after Prince Harry was born, Princess Di started an affair with Hewitt, the horse whisperer, which went on for 5 years. And she herself admitted that she and Hewitt had an affair during a BBC Panorama program in 1995. I don't know if that's true or not. However, meanwhile, Hewitt mused in an interview, it was never her intention to fall in love with me, and it was certainly not my intention to fall in love with Diana, but it happened because of the circumstances throwing them together. It's very difficult to say how physical she wanted a relationship to become, but he said he's not going to say one way or another. It developed, and it was mutual. So.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you're just not Daddy's kid.
Her old bodyguard said that the pair usually met at an old cottage in Devon belonging to Shirley, Hewitt's mother, where the creaking bedroom floorboards told the story more loudly than any confession. Wow.
I don't know, peeps. It doesn't look good, is all I can tell you. I'm thinking that he's just not. Who is his mother? We know who his mother is. We're not worried about his daddy. And there was lots of these rumors. It wasn't just like, everywhere you look, that's one coming up right there.
But I mean, look at Prince Charles. That was a very open. they probably they had to have had an open relationship, and maybe I mean because everybody knew about
Kamala.
oh my gosh, what's her name? Who's the
Kam-
new
Kamala Harris. I mean, not Harris. I
yes
said Kamala.
yes
Kamala, whatever her last name is, Windsor now. So
yes.
yeah, people are pissed because they made her a queen, but then nobody's like she can't be a real queen because if he dies, she can't take over. So I'm not sure how that works out.
Right.
But a lot of people were not happy. I mean, they were not happy that he made her any kind of queen. Here's a three-way portrait. Let's look at this one. There you go. So that's
Oh
his
my
daddy.
gosh.
That's his daddy on top, and that's his who they think is his daddy on. I don't know, man. I hate to say, I'm going with the guy on bottom. I'm just, man, I'm going with the guy on bottom. It's kind of like when you see Justin Trudeau and Fidel Castro when he was young. They look like twins, man. There's no way. That's another one. His mom, Trudeau's mom used to spend a lot of time down there with Castro by herself while the old man was, doing his business up in Canada. Yeah, I'm not thinking that's his daddy, guys. I'm thinking that is. He's got his mama's eyes, so it's hard to tell, but.
So I mean, this is a completely off the wall theory or idea. Actually, that would make a good book too, but I just thought of this. So if they did, a DNA test and proved that he was in fact Prince Charles. Harry was Prince Charles' son, right? And there was no way he could be Hewitt's son. What if this is a new, like, if she was actually in love with James Hewitt at the time she got pregnant with Prince Harry, could she have manifested a child quite literally to look like the person that, she was in love with at the time?
It's, I know. Wait, what? Who sent me this?
See?
Oh, wait, no, somebody screwed me up and they said, I didn't know. So Trudeau's a Christmas baby? He's born on December 25th, 1971. I didn't know he was a Christmas. No wonder he's so in their head. Let's see. Pierre Trudeau and his wife, Margaret Trudeau, was born a little more than 9 months after the marriage of his parents. And they're trying to say, no, it wasn't Castro. Yeah, they spent a lot of time with Castro. I don't know. You're going to have a hard time convincing people it's not. It's, let's see. They might even be some pictures. Let's see if we can find some. It's, what are these? Oh, wait, let's see. Present. Share screen. Okay, well, why don't you change screens? Oh, yeah, there you go. That's a good one. That's Trudeau on one side, Castro on the other side. I don't know. He kind of looks like Castro. Oh, shit. See, the world is effed up, people. Henry's not Charles's kid. Trudeau's not whoever's kid. Look, there it is with her mom right there. That's Trudeau's wife. Or his mama, I should say. There he is again. I don't know. He kind of looks like the dictator to me. What are y'all gonna do, people? So we got a communist leader running Canada. That's why Canada's so effed up, because that's his daddy right there. I know Raul Castro, he was asked one time about it, and Raul said he thought he was Castro's kid. And the granddaughter who's going to take over when Raul dies finally said she's positive that they're related. He said, matter of fact, when they've met, they've talked about it. I was like, okay, so nobody's what they appear to be these days. Well, who is Biden's daddy? Satan? I don't know. Oh no, I think Trish is frozen. Oh no, she's back.
I'm frozen.
You were frozen. You're back. No, you were frozen for a second.
I'm on my my laptop because I don't get good service on the
You
the storms earlier knocked everything out.
Yeah, you was only froze for a second. I don't know, Deneen. They look just like Castro and them look like Henry and Prince. You know who might know is maybe Meghan Merkel knows. Maybe we should ask Meghan. We should get an interview and say, Meghan, who's Henry's dad? You know, she might know. I mean, you say the
She
weirdest
might.
things when you're in bed with your woman, so you never know.
Oh my gosh.
It's true though. People tell secrets.
Uh,
What do you mean? I've never slept with a woman. I don't know what you're talking about. That's not something I do. That's sinful. Sinful stuff. Yes, you burn in hell for that. Mm-hmm. Yep.
and I only date mute guys, so
That's
I mean,
right. So what can you do? Yeah, I got some land for sale down here in New Orleans. You believe all that shit? No, I don't know nothing about that. You've never heard me say I'm angelic like. Yes, angelic like, not angelic. Angelic light. There's a difference. Mm-hmm.
that's ironic because somebody asked me a little bit ago what my shirt said because I didn't realize all you can see is whiskey, like on this part, but and your little description down there says hell has no fury like a mad man on a mic. But anyways, you're talking about angelic. My shirt says whiskey bent and hellbound.
It's a good saying there. I haven't seen that saying in a while. That's a cool
Because
one. I was drinking a lot
so
of
I
whiskey.
decided and the reason I wore this, I was talking about this to my daughter earlier because she could actually read it, and she said, "What does your shirt say?" And I don't actually drink anymore, but she has learned cursive, and they don't teach cursive in school anymore. I said, "That's an excellent idea. I'm going to start making adult shirts with cuss words or whatever I want on them in cursive because kids can't read it. So it wouldn't be offensive."
No, our schools are going shit in the handbag. I was lucky. All right,
they're
real
not going to
quick.
be able to read historic documents.
I had a very strange education. I had Catholic school, public school, private school. Catholic school, public school, private school. And we moved a lot because my dad we usually build homes. So sometimes I would see a different school every year. One year I seen 3 different schools in 1 year. It changes who you are, your personality, because having to adjust to a new school every year is a bitch. Now, every now and then you get lucky and you might know 1 or 2 kids there from another school, but still, it's a bitch, man. And I tried not to do that to my son. I tried to let him stay in the same school for a while. But you know what? I think it made more trouble than good. I don't know. Who knows? Oh, you mean wait, where'd you get AI is going to impregnate you from? What? That's like, no, we're not even going there. We're going to leave that alone. No, because that's like another topic. Like, I'm a guy, but I can have babies. Yeah, no, we're just not going there because look, I'm a guy.
That's actually, so I was reading
babies.
about, I don't know, I was reading about chimeras, right? Because I am one, but there's different types, right? So you have the type where maybe the person or the animal or whatever just has like a patch of skin that's a different color or something, because that's the only part of the genome, the DNA and stuff that crossed over. And then you have the second type, which completely merged, and like me, that person might have extra organs or 2 different DNAs, things like that. But then you have the third type, which the actual, say you had twins in utero, and one absorbed the other, and one was a female and one was a male, and they merged. And so technically, it's kind of like, even if the person looked completely normal on the outside, internally, it's kind of like Siamese twins, where they're connected, but it looks like one person on the outside, but they would have, obviously, it would be half and half on their body, and they would be both sexes basically, and they could in fact carry it. It could be a male that could carry a baby. So I can see in that aspect like how people could be confused with gender and things like that.
Well, see, something like that I can understand. Most of these people are just think, you need to stop drinking whatever that funny water is you're drinking. Wait, what's this? New IRS numbers are in, and they look bad for Gavin Newsom, Kathy Huckley, and Jay. Oh, I don't know what that's about. We'll have to read up on that. People, I don't know. Somebody just flashed this on my screen. I don't know. Send me an explanation because I'm too lazy to read it all. Well, I know what part of this is about. Gavin Newsom's wanting to give away, I don't know, $8 billion or something. And
$8
or
billion.
80 billion. No, he's giving reparations away in California to come up can be to 1 million per black person in the state that has ancestors to slaves. And
Wow.
the amount of money, I think it was 800 billion, whatever, it was a ridiculous amount of money. And California is like, look, California, it's your business, it's your state, you do what you want. I didn't even know California was a big slavery state, so I'm not sure what's going on there. So what's going to happen is all the normal people there who are just taxpayers are going to move because they're not going to pay for this. They're not going to take it out of their hard-earned money, and they're not going to pay for it. So I don't know what you do about that. And the federal government's not going to pay for it. For the majority of Americans are not going to go for reparations. And it's not because of any color or anything else. It's because there's too many other things going on in our country. One, if you're going to do reparations, we need to talk about Native Americans first. Let's just be honest about it. I said we enslaved the Native Americans. We raped the Native Americans. We took their land from them. We killed them by the millions. Yeah. Any way you go, they were, and it's worse than that because they're still being treated just as shitty today as they were 200 years ago. So, I mean, you need to start there. And then, yes, we can talk about the blacks, but we can also talk about the Chinese and the Irish.
I was going to say the Irish too, because well, technically, I mean, my family's part Native, part African American, part Irish. So,
so I mean, you got all of those.
The Irish were slaves too. So,
and Beanie, you're not right because the Greeks and the Romans enslaved white people by the millions. So everybody in this world's been enslaved at least once or more than once. And so with the Jews got reparations by going after the companies like Toyota. I'm not Toyota. I'm sorry. Toyota, apologize. By going after companies like Porsche, Mercedes, and things like that, and Volkswagen, because those are the ones who were using the labor. So they went after those companies for reparation, and some of those companies paid. But here in the United States, you'd have to go after the slave owners, which are mostly, the families are mostly wiped out. So I'm not sure how you would go after that. And oh no, Christopher, the very first slave owner in the United States was a black man. Look it up for yourself. You don't have to even take my word for it. It surely was. And remember this. You want the Americans to pay reparations when only 2% of white people even own slaves. So you can't expect the other 98% to pay up. And you would say, well, they treated this one bad. Well, everybody's been treated bad in this country at one time or another. So, I mean, it's how do you do this? How do you make it fair for everyone?
Well, and so a big thing that I found while doing researching my own family's genealogy, I suggest everyone do this because a lot of times you'll be surprised. Like I literally look like the whitest redhead, white person, like Irish person, I guess. But my grandma was Native, like I found in my own family history, and there's even down the line, there's some people who are extremely racist and stuff, not in my present day, but in previous generations.
Yeah.
And I found that my great grandpa was actually, it was on the census, every one of them, he was black. So I bet half the ones down the line didn't even know that. You know what I mean? They didn't know that one of their direct ancestors, like not very far back, was in fact and directly from Africa.
That's the problem. It's common in the South. So you've got a lot of white people who have a lot of black blood in them. So they're going to get money too, because if they don't, there's going to be hell to pay because they're descendants of slaves. So this is going to be a problem in our country. It's not something that's going to be easy fix. And the other problem is America can't afford it, because when it comes right down to it, there's no money for this. There's too many other things, and you can't give one group a financial advantage over the other. And so if you go around and give 13% of the population or 15% of the population each $1 million, you're asking for problems all the way around. Some of those people are going to turn into alcohol, drug addicts. Some of them are going to do really good things with the money. Some of them are going to piss it away really fast. But it's making all these other hardworking kids that are out there trying to get ahead, it puts them at a disadvantage. And somebody said, well, they were at a disadvantage. Well, that's true, but that two wrongs don't make a right, does it? And there is no correcting the past of 100 years ago. It's just not going to happen.
Not to mention, many people in the United States now, a great deal of the population are in fact refugees from other countries.
That's the thing, they are.
Over the last 100 years or so. So you can't really,
And
so
are we going to give
can't divide it. Yeah,
Are we going to give the Hispanics reparation too?
exactly.
I mean, they're 30% of the population now, and they're being treated pretty bad themselves. So we're going to give them reparations.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, a lot of white people have Spanish blood. I have Indian and Spanish. So I mean, I also have Irish and Italian too. So it's where does it stop? And what percent of a Native American, what percentage of African blood do you have to have to be? Because, you got to remember, if they go by, oh, your family line, but then they come back and say, well, you know what? Not really. Yeah, you had a black ancestor back 250 years ago, but it's been all white since. And so do you still get money?
And it doesn't do anything. It does not change the past. That's my thing with it. Like we can only go forward. We can only learn from our mistakes and go forward.
And the only thing it's going to do in California, a $3 Coke's now going to be a $7 Coke.
Exactly. Not to mention, okay, there's other things also, like, all these lawsuits lately, right? So they say anyone who took Tylenol or what was the other one?
Yeah, there's all kind of stuff out there.
Oh my gosh, what's the one that everybody took in the 80s? Aspirin.
Yeah.
Aspirin, right? Like the baby aspirin. Anybody who took that, there's a class action lawsuit, because it causes, who knows, everything under the sun. Well, everybody took that. Like, who didn't take it? You know what I mean? Like,
it was like the talcum powder thing when it came out.
Right.
That was a major lawsuit. But when and companies that lie deserve it. But I don't know, when it comes to everyday stuff in our country, I don't know how do you make everyone who's been slighted feel good? And is money the only way?
You can't.
And a lot of my friends, a lot of my black friends and colleagues say that they don't think the people should get reparations, but they should spend that money on health programs and schooling programs and special things that the kids today can actually use to get ahead in the world. Why, and I understand that. So it's a tough thing. It really is.
Or, one of the biggest things that I think would help us not repeating those things is actually teaching factual based historical learning. You know what I mean? Like, we shouldn't cover it up. Shame is something that helps us grow as a nation. I don't think that I don't think people should get offended that we're still teaching that. I think by teaching it, it helps us not repeat it again. You know what I mean?
But and that's the thing. That's the truth. If you cover up a lie, if you cover up a truth, eventually the truth repeats itself. Well, we wouldn't have had slavery as many times in our world that we've had it.
Yeah. And then we go through this entire cycle. It's like a loop all over again. No, there's no way we could have done that. There's no way. And then here we are again, and so I think that would be the only solution, but it'll never happen because by the day they're taking historical documents and books and everything else out of schools and out of the public eye and out of media and everything else. They're erasing it from history, so we're just going to repeat it again. And now everybody's offended by everything. So
Jimmy, you're calling me out? Okay, Jimmy. Anthony Johnson, who was a colonist, was a black man, and he was the first slave owner in the United States. That's a fact. You can get all upset as you want, and he's not the only black slave owner in the United States. So blacks that were wealthy, that came from other countries or came from Jamaica or places like that had whatever. Have you ever seen some of the Jamaican plantations? They were all slaves, and a lot of those were black owners. So people just always want to assume, it was all white people. And remember, and I've said this a million times, if you want reparations, go to the Zulu. They're the one that sold you to the white man.
Yeah.
The white man didn't go on your continent and take you off. They waited at the beach, and the Zulu brought you there and sold you to them. So, look, it was not just, if you're going to get reparations, you need to go to the source who was actually shipping them into us. I'm sorry,
The
guys.
Irish people, redheads, ginger is actually a derogatory term because there were Irish slaves and there were African slaves that came over around the same time, and slave owners had both, and then they started basically breeding their slaves because they wanted a stronger, um, more resilient slave. So basically, they literally bred the African slaves who, were strong and quick and hard workers and everything else, with the Irish slaves who had the immunity and things like that, and lived really long lives and such, and were strong and stuff as well. And so then you get this hybrid slave basically that's half Irish, half black, African American, and that's what my ancestors were. And when you switch the letters around in ginger, what do you get? See? And most people don't know that. They don't know that, and that's a 100% fact. It's a historical fact.
It's, what's that gene? Oh, no, the other Portuguese sold slaves too. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure, if I remember the story correctly, they the ones. Anthony Jones was sold into. He was indentured servant actually, and he made enough money to free himself, and then he became a very wealthy plantation, tobacco plantation in Maryland, and he brought in the first slaves into the United States. So he was technically a slave and turned around and enslaved his own people. You figure that one out. That's not me, people. History is history. See, this is the stuff they want to wipe away. They don't want you to know this because
We become everything we hate.
and usually when I ask a black man or a black woman about this, they're like, "No, that's not true." I say, "Well, it's actually very true. Look it up for yourself."
Yes.
But then they're not being taught that. See, we were taught it
Right.
down here because we have what they call Louisiana history, and Louisiana history it talks about all of the slaves and how they got here and who brought them here and how they were treated and how some plantations treated them good, and how some plantations, just treated them horrible. It just varied from plantation to plantation, and they got into a great deal down here, so people have a better idea where they came from. But today, I don't want around calling myself Italian American or Irish American or German American. I call myself an American. So anytime you say that you're something else, and you're putting whatever that is ahead of your nationality, which is an American. So I don't know anymore. How are you African American? You ain't none of y'all been to Africa in 200 years. So I guess that's like saying we're European American. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You're either an American or you're not at this point. And you can't, and this is where everybody messes up, because when they say African American, they automatically assume black, but that's wrong. Who is the richest African American in the world? Do y'all know? Elon Musk. Oh yes, he's African,
Yeah,
and he's an
that's true.
American, and he's the richest man in the world, and he ain't black. See, that was one of those misnomers that just got started by Americans, but it's not a true statement. So when you
He's
say
from
that,
South Africa, right?
yeah, he's from South Africa, and he's a white man. He's not a black man, and he's not the only African that's wealthy and white. So I mean, we did this, but it's not a true statement. So when I hear someone, well, I'm African American, really? What part of Africa did you come from? Who was your kin? What family were you born in? How did you get here? What tribe sold you to the white man? So I mean, if you're going to say you're an African American, then you need to be exactly that. Today, it means something entirely different. It's just a way for people to be racist, is all it is. It's for reverse discrimination, is all it really is. It's not. It doesn't serve any other purpose than that. When I see things like different channels, somebody the other day said, "Well, the Black Entertainment Network's racist." Well, it is racist. But then they said, one of my black friends, well, if that's true, then the whatchamacallit, Spanish networks. I said, no, that's different. He's like, well, why is it different? I said, because that's a language. It's not saying that it's not based on a color, because South Americans are brown, white, black. I said, that's South Americans. That's Asian. I mean, it's Hispanics. That's what they are. That's a culture. That's a whole culture. And when you say African American, that's not what you mean. You mean black. I said, and that's different. I said, that's a racist thing. That's anytime you say that, anytime you have to say you're African American, you're just being racist. If you can't just simply say you're an American, you're a racist. And that's what it comes down to. And a lot of my friends get mad at me about it, but I tell people all the time, If you can't describe an individual to me without using color, you're a racist. It's just, unless it's a crime where you have to have a color saying, hey, this person, did this white person, this black person, this Asian person, whatever, that's different. But when you're just talking about someone, you say, well, that black man over there, well, okay, I didn't need to know he's black. I just need to know he was a man over there and something about his personality. Anything else than that is racist. So
I think that's kind of it's what we've been taught, though. It's socially, even look at media, because anytime if you watch the news, that's how they profile people. That's how look at job applications, look at in school, you go to take a test, a standardized test, it gives everyone a title based on
it does.
your race.
It's not supposed to either.
Mm-mm. And that shouldn't matter. Why the hell should it matter?
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't even matter what gender you are, what race you are, none of that. If you're taking a test, a math test, you know what I mean? Like that, who gives it? Like that shouldn't matter whatsoever.
And if you go back 40 years, it was different, or even 20 years, but today's is a much different place growing up in it. I mean, if you go in any neighborhoods in the South, you're going to find, and when you go into the suburbs, you're going to find just as many colored folk as you do white folk. They're mixed neighborhoods now. They're comfortable neighborhoods. They're not full of crime. The place has changed. They're living just like everybody else. So there is not that need anymore for the description of race, but some people still need that to stir the pot or to get the vote. Whereas most people I meet of color these days don't use that anymore. Matter of fact, it aggravates a lot of them, I know.
Yeah.
So what do you mean, Justin? Do I have black friends? I have black friends, black hosts, black associates, black employees, black subcontractors. I'm from New Orleans, dude. What are you talking about? Half the population here is black. See, that's what I'm trying to explain to you. I come from a city where racism is different. So when I was growing up in this town, this was one of the most racist places you could ever be. Harry Lee, if you were black and you used to come out of the city into the suburb, he would put you in a car and bring you back to the city. Oh, yes. And he was a Chinaman. He was extremely racist. But over the years, and because both populations are so large, we've learned to become friends and get along and become a population, not a color, but a population. So New Orleans doesn't refer, the only person who did that was the Chocolate City mayor. The rest of New Orleans doesn't describe themselves as black or white. They just describe themselves as what? New Orleanians. You won't hear, oh, I'm a black New Orleanian, I'm a white. That's not what you're going to ever hear. You're going to hear I'm a New Orleanian, and that's all you're going to hear. So
that's what I'm saying. I think the titles is something that was a social, that was socially learned because, and from older generations, because it's not necessary.
It's not. It's not something. It was necessary, but it's not. Well, Jimmy, I agree with you. Northern people are far more racist than Southern people, but it's different because Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Texas are all at least 50% black now. Well, maybe not Texas, but the other ones are at least all 50%. So everybody here gets along. The majority of blacks in this country live in these 5 states. People always, oh, it's New York. No, it's not. It's the southern states. That's where the majority of them live. And think about it. These are the states that enslaved them. These are the states that did all this stuff. And they don't want to leave. They want to stay here because why? You get up north, people are racist. You get out west, people are racist. In the South, they're not anymore. It's just what it is. Now, by saying that, I wouldn't go mess around in northern Mississippi, whatever color you are. No, I'm serious. So if you pull in one of these northern Mississippi towns, you can be white, you can be black, you can be freaking purple. If you're not from that town, you should leave.
Oh, that's how a lot of the deep South, like dirty South in southern Georgia is too.
You stay.
You get in places there. It doesn't matter what color you are. If you're not from there,
that's right.
If you're not from there, you don't belong in that town.
I've had many cops over the years go, boy, what are you doing here? And I look at him like, excuse me. He said, what you doing in my town, boy? I just asked you a question. I'm like,
yeah.
I just wanted to slap his ass. I'm thinking, no, Joe, be nice. Be nice. Don't smack the cop.
But those are towns where everyone is involved too, man. From the judge down to and they'll bury you in a swamp and not even think twice about it, and nobody will even know you came. It's not. I'm not even joking.
I know. They'll never ever know what happened to you. Well, Jan, my problem is with all this colored thing on our planet is sooner or later we're going to the planet's going to meet extraterrestrials. So, I mean, we got to quit judging ourselves and our friends and our skin colors. I mean, you should never have to judge anyone by skin color, ever. That's just stupid. I always judge everybody the same way. You're either an asshole or you're not. You're either somebody I can deal with and
So,
hang out with, or you're not. I don't care what color you are. You could be freaking alien gray as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't matter. All that matters is your personality and who and what you are and what your actions. So I don't care about anything else.
in ancient Egypt, the when they gave the label of, I don't know if it was like in northern Egypt and southern Egypt, one half was white and one half was black. That actually had nothing to do with skin color. Most people do not know that fact. It was more like bloodlines and clans,
Yeah.
because some of the people in the white part were in fact very dark skinned, and some people in the black part were very pale also. So it had nothing to do with skin color. The separation of it's kind of like the in Asia, the like yin and yang, it's the balance of black and white, of light and dark. So
There
I
you
read
go.
that. I found another one too. It said Anthony Johnson was a man known for achieving wealth in early 17th century colony of Virginia. Born in Angola, he was the first person to own a slave, as recognized by the Virginia courts. Held an indentured servant in 1621, he earned his freedom after several years and was granted land by the colony.
And you would think somebody who was an indentured servant, which isn't quite a slave but close, you would think that he would want to own slaves, but apparently he did. And he owned a big plantation, guys. We're not talking some little rows. We're not talking 40 acres and a mule. This guy had several hundred acres. So
That's what my great grandpa did too. He fought in the wars and bought his freedom, and then they were granted, the ones who volunteered after that, because they didn't have enough soldiers to fight. So in all of those southern states, you mainly like Arkansas, east, basically, they granted a lot of slaves land in those states after the war.
it always cracks me up because, when I was looking these sites up, I always checked the fact checker sites.
Mm-hmm.
And the guys, they had all these sites up saying, oh, it's a lie, it's a lie. But Wiki puts it up and said, no, it's not a lie. The encyclopedia picked it up and said, no, it's not a lie. But you get all these off sites you've never heard of saying this, And, well, no, there's a lot of them like missbar.com. They're saying, no, it's not true. And but the majority of sites you go to said, no, it's absolutely true.
Yeah, go look, like I said, go look through your ancestry, look through actual court documents, they have all of that published now, which is absolutely amazing. It's all digital. You can look up the slave records from the 1800s, 1700s, 1600s. I don't know if they might be archived back to the 1600s now. Some of them are for some
he
states.
Is for sure. He's they got him from 1600 to 1670. They knew who he was, where he came from, what he achieved. So I mean,
you can trace the actual documents.
Yeah, that's one thing about the slave owners. They did keep good records of their slaves. So, well, because they were valuable commodities at the time. So, well, see, it's weird in the South. When you talk to families about slaves, whether they're black or white, it depends what group you're talking to. So there's some plantations up in Picayune, Mississippi. Well, black women still today walk down in their African things with the things on their head, still doing it today in 2023. It's still just like it was, because, those people treated the people humanely and nice, and they were basically free and could do what they want and come and go. So it was different. So in the South, it was very different. You could have one plantation here where they're just beating the shit out of them, whipping them every day, raping their women, doing whatever. And then the next one down, actually maybe treating their people completely, giving them quarters, giving them food. Because for a lot of plantation owners, they paid big money for these slaves. Mm-hmm. So treating them miserably was just a waste of money, because if they didn't perform or they were constantly trying to escape, what was the use? Because one thing I remember a gentleman telling me, it was one of my black teachers, and he goes, trying to escape in the old days was dumb. He said, because sooner or later you're going to get caught long before you ever crossed the Mason-Dixon line. And if it wasn't your master that caught you, it was going to probably be twice as hell as even when they caught you. It was just, it was a horrible thing. It was a horrible part of our history that we're trying to rectify. But I don't know how you're going to rectify it other than the way it's being rectified. I mean, Denise, money is money, but I mean, where's America? America is $32 trillion in debt. And you want to give 13, maybe 15% of the population $1 million each. So let's see, 10% of 400 million is what, 40 million. So we're talking about 45 million people here. That's a lot of money. That's billions and billions of dollars. And you don't think everybody else is not going to resent that? You don't think it's not going to cause trouble amongst everybody else? I'm telling you now, the Hispanic and Native Americans are going to be furious. So are the Irish and the Chinese. So I don't know how you're going to get around it. As far as the whites go, I don't think they're going to care either way, as long as they're not paying for it. If they got to pay for it, then they're going to be furious.
So, but just to put this in perspective of why this is absolutely ridiculous, and we think that we've come a long ways in society, and like we don't do these things anymore, and blah blah blah. No, we absolutely do.
No, yeah,
It's just we don't publicly do it anymore, which actually almost makes it worse. So pull up, I don't know if you can on the screen, Joe, but pull up slaveryfootprint.org. This is a good experiment for you.
Oh Lord, like I don't have enough experiments.
No, we're going to see how many, and this is for everyone. I guarantee, unless you 100% make and produce every single thing you consume, all the food, your clothes, vehicle, everything, unless you do that, then everyone is currently aids in slave ownership, basically, because if you pull up products on this website, it could be anything. It could be toys, bicycles, dolls, anything. You could go to like t-shirts, strollers, cribs, diaper creams, whatever, there's playing cards, refrigerators, ovens, stoves.
All right, let's see. There you go.
See how many slaves work for you. So you go to a product, and then you go to a country.
Lord have mercy. Pick a product. Let's pick a product. Okay. Let's see. Let's get something fun.
You can go like a barbecue grill. You can go, just something that everyone.
Cribs, baby shampoo. Jesus, I got all kind of stuff on here. Let's scroll through this list. Wagons, electronic ride on cars, diapers. I don't need no damn diapers. Air conditioners. Let's do air conditioners. There you go. Let's pick a country, United States. Okay. All right. What I got to do next? Do I hit something down here or something? What am I missing out on something here? I know there's a button I'm supposed to be pushing somewhere. Wait, what's this? Do I just slide this along?
Let's see. I'm going to
2,398 slaves to make my air conditioner.
Yeah, through all that, whether it be in the shipping process, whether it be in so.
Yeah, I see how it goes through. So you can go all the way back down here. What's this down here? No, so that's nothing right there. So you got to keep going down here.
But that's what I'm saying. We are still doing to this very day. Look how many, human trafficking, things like that. Kids working in sweatshops, making Nikes over in other countries. I thought they may have stopped that, but no, you hear about it all the time, and we just turn our heads. Yeah, so it's okay for that stuff to still go on, but yet people want, monetary.
I see they don't give you China nowhere. Oh, ain't that some stuff?
Because they probably got the most.
Man. I have no doubt about that. I was just trying to pick it, but I see there's none in there. You can go to South Korea, Taiwan, Japan, but you can't go to. Well, ain't that just cheesy? Let's go see if we can find China on this list. I don't think you can. China not gonna be on the list. Oh no, there they are. Well, look at that. We got you, China.
And yes, in history's depictions of slavery, it was absolutely terrible, absolutely something we should never, ever repeat. However, based on, all of the historical documents I've studied, there were some plantation owners and slaves who were actually treated very well. They became a part of like the little the school teachers and the nannies and things like that, were treated absolutely. Some of them, I'm not saying all of them, but I'm saying, they were a very big part of the family, basically. They helped raise the kids. They helped, and so obviously
Yeah,
not
well,
all of them, but
yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, some places it was different than others. A friend, I remember a friend of mine tells me, he goes, "Well, there's never slaves up north." I was like, "Really?" And I said, "I think you're actually wrong about that." I said, "But you can go check for yourself." And I said, "There was definitely slaves above the Mason-Dixon line, if that's what you're asking me."
yes.
And it's just, guys, it's a sad thing. It's a sad thing that here we are, 300 years later, and it's still a conversation in our country. It should have already been resolved. And it is changing a lot faster. I mean, when you can go backwards, you can go back just 10 years and then 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, and you can see the difference in the way people live, the way people are, the way our country is, how many people live in poverty versus how many people don't live in poverty. And Tanya, is that your name? Tanya? I'm sorry. No, blacks do not make up the most people on welfare. Sorry, sweetheart. Not even close. No, they're not. Then before Trump became president, y'all were lowest in unemployment, but Trump changed that for y'all and brought you way up. So it's not, you're not even on that list anymore. But as far as the most people in poverty, that's white people. That's simply because there's more of them. Yeah, people. It always cracks me up that people don't
I
think
don't
there's
know.
poor.
I think it depends on where you are, because
Well, it does depend what state you live in.
almost
We're talking about
every
overall.
place, well, maybe. I don't know. I've been looking at that too recently, and in most states, at least in the Midwest, um, I know from all the states I've lived in, um, white is actually the minority.
In a lot of places they are. It's right now they're, some people say 63. Last one I saw said 56% of the population. Um, that's shrinking on a daily. I mean, that's a daily thing. Uh, Gene, if it's been a while, we did a show on this recently. If I remember right, it was about 19% of the country is on welfare, and that probably went up some through COVID. That was like 2019 number, so I bet you that's higher now. Even though the unemployment rate is low, I think it's at 3.4%. Still, I think it's probably somewhere around 19%. Yeah, you'd have to go look and see. It's been a while since I looked, but and well, no, white people do make it the majority of people on welfare. That's just the stats. If you do it by race, whites are first, and I think Native Americans are second, then blacks. Yeah.
I don't think, but so are Native Americans included in the same
No,
statistics?
they're
Because
not.
there's a
They're not.
separate, they have a separate program for Native Americans than they do for.
They're not. Um, yeah, they actually kick it out. So here you go. Before Trump, whites and blacks are about the same. About 39% were on welfare. When Trump came along, that actually changed. Black went from 39% welfare to I think 18%. That's a major difference. And I think Hispanics are somewhere around the same place, 15%, and whites are still somewhere right around 38% of the white population's on welfare. Asians is around 2-3%, and then there's other races, but you can go look them up. They're up there. It just changes from year to year because of stuff going on in our country.
An interesting thing, when I was looking for houses on, Zillow and Redfin.com and a lot of those especially Redfin.com, it's really interesting. Any location you look at, any city or what have you, it lists if you find a house, it lists what school district it's in as far as elementary, middle school, and high school. And then below that, it would also list what population of that school is what race, whether there's, I think it has like 10 different options. And then it also lists below that what population of those races are below poverty or poverty, different, which is really interesting. I had never seen schools divided into such specifically detailed for housing, for while looking for housing. I mean, that's interesting. I guess it's good to know. I mean, I don't usually, for my own kids, look into that as much because we pretty much get along with, I mean, I'm not racist or anything like that. So, but they divide it up into income, race, and then they go even further than that and say what population of those races are accepted into college. So
I know I don't know. They break up things too much. I think sometimes. Oh, look, Twitter got a new CEO, guys.
I saw that.
Elon Musk names Linda Yaccarino new Twitter CEO. She kind of looks like the girl from what's that one with what the hell's that now? It was right in my head. Oh, that stupid comedy show. Bailey, what's her name's on it?
Comedy show.
Well, she used to play Blossom, and now she's on Jeopardy.
Oh gosh, yeah,
she kind of looks like her. Maylee something or another. I can't. No, that's Miley Kuntz. I'm getting my brain confused. Sorry, wrong person. But no, that's she played Blossom, and she played what's his name's girlfriend. Why can't I remember that stupid, funny, damn science show everybody loved forever? They've had all kind of stars on there too.
Bill Nye?
No. This is it was a TV series.
Oh.
It had Maylee, what's her name? The blonde chick, Kaylee Cuckoo was on it. Kaylee Coco was on it, and the guy, the black-headed guy, was on from the Roseanne show. And what the hell was it called? Big Bang. Sorry, I couldn't remember the damn series. She was on Big Bang playing what's his name's girlfriend.
The blonde.
No, she was.
She I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. No, she looks way different in this outfit here, but when she was in that one, she kind of looked like that chick. I was like, that's weird. Thank you, Gene. I don't know, huge policy problems for Biden. I believe that. I think he's got a lot of headaches coming ahead up for him. Yes, he does, but that's not our problem. I did see the Trump thing on CNN. That was insanity. CNN must have loved. They probably put their ratings through the floor. They probably love Trump now. I don't know. I didn't vote for Trump either time, guys. I'm sorry. I know you Trumpers are going to hate on me, but I couldn't. I don't know. I couldn't vote for Hillary, and I couldn't vote for Trump. I like Trump. I just couldn't vote for him.
Oh, so Facebook, their whole lawsuit finally went through or whatever. That you can. It's been going on for like 16 years.
Oh, good. I can apply for my money now.
Yeah, you can now get settlement money for it. Yeah.
I got to write to them because I got multiple pages since the beginning of the time.
They settled on $725 million through who's their parent company, Meta, tied to all the privacy violations and everything. And as long as you fill out a claim on the website, it's set up to pay out the money to the social networks users. So
there you go. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go sign up and see. Everybody sent me that stuff earlier. I'm not really interested in King Charles, and that's between him and his kid. They want to fight it out. Let them fight it out. I mean, they're royals. I personally, I think the grandma should have started with her original thing and made the grandson the king, and skipped over Philip because he's an idiot. He just, I don't know. He just doesn't look like he's going to make a good king. And what's her name? Kamala, or whatever her name is after the flower. I don't know. She's funky. I bet you she smells funny too. What do I care? He's not my king. Last I checked, I'm still living in America. What? Kamala Harris exposed something seriously wrong with Joe Biden? What is that, people? You're going to send me stupid shit like that? Send me an answer along with it. Yes, I'm not worried about Israel starting World War III. I'm more worried about Russia starting World War III. Let's see. Reporter visibly shaken after CNN boss scolds him for being too emotional in Trump town hall. Whatever, dude. The boss looks. I'm not even going to say what the boss looks like. I'll just get myself in trouble. I don't care about Trump. I don't care about Biden. I don't care about Bush. I don't know, man. Maybe I need to move to a different country where it's funner or something.
I've been considering that.
It's this is looking worse and worse, by the way, for Biden every week. The bribery thing, the crime family thing. It's just more and more stuff's coming out. Do I think it'll be enough for Kennedy to surpass him? But let's look at it this way. Trump just lost $5 million to a woman who said he raped her, and he went up 10 points in the standings. He's now passed Joe Biden up. He's 10 points ahead of Joe Biden after losing this case. Now, I did tear somebody's ass up the other day because they said he was convicted of being a rapist. That's not true. First off, last year, Trump won a defamation case against her for $15 million. She just won $5 million in a civil case. This is not a criminal case. Yes, because no criminal court would take it. There wasn't any evidence for it. This was a New York jury and a New York judge, and that's the only reason they got any money. It's already been appealed, and it's going to be. They're asking to put it in a different place. Yes, because that's the only reason it won. And don't take this the wrong way, people. I've watched the women that Trump goes after. This girl's just butt-ass ugly. She's flat on both sides. I mean, even when she was young, she was flat on both. I'm not even sure. When I seen it the first time, she looked more like a boy than a girl. That's just not Trump. Trump's like voluptuous women. And if he's going to take a chance to go to jail, it's going to be on something worth it. I'm just saying, guys, it just doesn't. I don't think he'd let his dog rape this woman. I'm not going to lie to you. And for some reason, she don't want to take a polygraph. So the only one she took, they said, was inconclusive because she was faking it. And then all of her friends, remember when she did all this, none of her friends could remember any of this happening. Yeah, they all basically said she was lying. So I don't know what to tell y'all. That's not the point I was making because I really don't care about it regardless either way. It's just he went up 10 points. He gets in trouble in New York. He goes up 5 points. I don't think y'all understand. I tried to say this in the last election. I mean, one before this. I said, if all you do is talk about Trump, that's everything's going to be in anybody's mind. That's why he's going to win. And right now, running against Biden, Biden's piss poor excuse as a record, I don't know how he can't win. DeSantis is also ahead of Joe Biden by 9 points, but Trump is 20 points ahead of DeSantis in the primary numbers. Yeah, so we'll see how it plays out. My vote would be for DeSantis to run for as long as he could, give Trump his votes in exchange for the VP's job. I think if Trump DeSantis, him and VP, I think Trump would win hands down. And if he did, then Trump would get, DeSantis, the Republicans would get 12 years. They would get 4 years of Trump, 8 years of DeSantis, and our country would be a different place. So I don't know what to tell y'all. It's a hard thing. I don't know about all of that. Jesse Waters. Yeah, I remember Jesse Waters. What about him? What about him? Jesse's an ass. I have no doubt that he's an ass. Yeah, and there she is. What's her name? How you say it? Maymbialik. This is where she's at on Jeopardy. She looks just like this chick for the new CEO. Man, this is weird.
The actress?
Yeah, the actress. That's the one I kept getting stuck in my head. I don't know, people. We're getting ready to go because we got to go out of here. But because I got a bunch of shit I still got to do tonight. I would pay attention to what's going on. If Biden's president again this time, then there's no doubt somebody cheated. Nah. The only way Biden stands a chance is if DeSantis and Trump split the party. So one of them could run as an independent, and the other one could run as a GA, would split the party. And then you would give the election to somebody else. But there's a lot of stuff coming out on Biden. I don't even know if he's going to make the election. You mean Como? I mean not Como. Newsom? No, Newsom can't win. Newsom's an idiot. No, Newsom's an idiot. The country, California, don't like. They tried to recall him. He'd never make president. He's just not that kind of type. The Kennedy guy has a chance, but right now
Oh, Lord.
he's polling so far below Biden. I don't know how he could get up there. Yeah, he's JFK. What, the third? Or I don't know. I get confused. Yeah, and then you see stuff like this now. McCartney warns FBI must release documents linking Biden to alleged bribery scheme. So one of the things they're talking about, and I don't know if y'all have ever seen this video, and this is a real video. So Biden was in the Ukraine, okay? And his son was under investigation, and the Burisma was under investigation by the Ukrainian investigator. So Biden said that they had to fire this guy within 24 hours or they would not get, I think it was $5 billion they were given to him. That's bribery, guys. That's illegal in our country. He should have went to jail for that. Instead of Barack Obama, he was vice president at the time, just let him slide. So that's still an offense that he can go to jail for. That's bribery. And it's not the only time we found out now. It's more than that. So he was going around, because his son was in deep shit, he was going around making the Ukrainians fire their people. Oh, well, they're corrupt and you've got 24 hours to get rid of him or no money for you. Really? What do you think would happen if Trump would have done something like that? Jesus Christ. We'd still be hearing about it. I don't know what to tell y'all, but it's our country's effed up. We need a leader that can unite. We need a leader that can bridge both parties, and we haven't had one of them. The last two we had was Reagan and Clinton. We haven't had anybody since then. I mean, you can call Baby Bush, but Baby Bush only united the parties because we were at war. That was all it was. It wasn't so much that he united a party. It was the fact that someone blew up the Twin Towers united the parties. Yes. Well, we don't. Look, we hate each other all the time as parties. We will hate on each other all day long. Don't come blow up our fucking country, though. Then we become one party again. Then you're in a world of shit. It's like Hiroshima told the emperor, Admiral Hiroshima told the emperor, I'm scared we woke the sleeping giant when they bombed Pearl Harbor. He actually asked him not to do it because he was feared he was going to wake the sleeping dragon, is what he said. And sure enough, if he didn't, we instantly went into war mode and started building shit all over the place. Yes, and today we're a company. Well, did y'all see the ads? You saw the Air Force ad, and then so the Navy's got a transvestite ad to bring in new recruits. Well, everybody who's seen it in the military's flipped out. Nobody, and now a bunch of the old time Navy people said they're going to leave if this is what the Navy's going to be. So they're wanting to leave. So instead of getting more people in, they're losing retention now. And everybody who's seen ads said, "It doesn't make me want to join the Navy." So that's they want that going. And then the Air Force was having transvestite parties. People are flipping out on this. And it's not. What's worse than that? It gives our enemies, like China and Russia, they can use this against us. So y'all haven't seen the latest Chinese videos or Russian videos that said this is a Russian man, this is an American man, this is a Chinese man, this is an American man. So they're all like hard after, and our guys are all in lipstick, and it's disgusting. But it's our own fault. We're giving them that info against us. I mean, come on, the Pentagon should never be worried about transvestites when we got countries trying to blow us up. Let's be honest about it. A woke military is not a willing military that can fight. That's just not going to happen. Most woke people can't even fight their way out of a wet paper bag with the top open and a pair of scissors in their hands. So shit. But we got to go because
That's what's getting scary.
Yes, Trish needs some sleep. I need some food, and I need some food and some sleep. But we're going to do it in different orders. Everyone for hanging out with us. No, any moans, groans, bitches, or gripes, write to Michelle DeRoche. Yes. Address say Joe Montaldo said to write to Michelle DeRoche.
Oh no.
Yes, that's how you do that. You say, well, Michelle, he said to write to you and to tell you this mean stuff, and then you can deal with her ass when she gets mad at you. Oh, and for any hosts listening tonight, we got a meeting on the 20th. About all kind of freaking shit we're involved in now, from Amazon to Roku to every freaking thing in between. It's a noon, people. Somebody, just because I seen one of the hosts go by a minute ago. Trish, tell them where they can find you. You're on Tuesdays now, right? You're not on Mondays anymore. You're on Tuesdays.
I am on Tuesdays. I have been gone the last 2 weeks, but I actually, so I have an exciting guest coming up, actually. Michael Tamura. He wasn't doing any more interviews or anything. His health was declining, and he agreed to come on my show and talk to me. He's another spiritual healer. He has had numerous near-death experiences, and like myself, I happened to come across him one time, and he's the first person I ever have seen or encountered who explains his near-death experiences very nonchalantly, like I do, where I'm just like, yeah, I had a few heart attacks, strokes, died a few times, and so people don't always believe us or anything because we're just very nonchalant about it. And he's a very, very interesting person, very wise person, and I'm honored that he's actually agreed to be interviewed on my show. So that is towards the end of the month, and it's on Tuesday nights from 9 to 11 p.m. Central Time.
That's right. She's following them crazy people on Chasing Prophecy, which has actually expanded their show from a 2-hour to a 3-hour show. And we'll have a new show on Sundays, 9 to 11, if I'm correct, with their new Michael Anthony host. So y'all be sure to check all of that out, because I don't really know. I'm not up. That's the boss lady's up to all of that stuff. Oh, well, no, I guess I'm up to this show, but still, she's up to all the rest of them. Don't forget to check out the daytime lineup. There are shows all over the daytime now, so be sure to check out the full daytime lineup. And they got a weekend lineup coming out, so be sure to check them all out. There's lots of new shows to choose from. There's lots of old shows to choose from. Just get out there and choose a show, sit down and listen. And again, any moans, groans, bitches, or gripes, address it to Michelle de Rochier from the Outer Realm. Yes. Go to the Outer Realm page and put it there. And if you can't find Michelle, send it to Amelia Pisano. Yes.
Oh no!
If you send it to Amelia, put it courtesy Joe.
They are both sweethearts. Joe's the one that's going to get in trouble for this.
No, Joe's innocent. Joe ain't got nothing. They won't hear this show, so I ain't got to worry about it. They'll just start thinking, why is all this weird shit coming to us? I'm just kidding, people. But if you do have a moan, she is the boss, so you can write to her. Writing to me is a waste of time, because I'm either going to go, yeah, okay, or I'm going to be like, leave me the hell alone, one or the other. If you're not a host or a friend, getting hold to me is not easy. Yeah, I'm not impossible to get hold to. It's not easy. But on that note, I want to tell everyone thanks for hanging out on the News on the Flip Side with Trish and I. And I hope y'all enjoyed John and Emily the first hour. That is the Goodwins. And if you anything Writers of the Future, L. Ron Hubbard, write to them about. And for the person who asked me about the nonfiction, you can write to them. It's Author Services that handles nonfiction stuff. So you can write to them, and John will put you in touch with the right people. Yes. Just go to galaxypress.com or go to writersofthefuture.com and drop off a letter, and they'll tell you where to go. I mean, in a good way, sorry. It came out bad. It just came out bad all the way around. But anyway, on that note, good night. Stay tuned for Spaced Out Radio with the crazy man, Scott Bakula. Well, Dave Scott. Sorry, wrong guy. I've been watching the new Quantum Leap. Sorry, he's in my brain. Yes, the new Quantum Leap. It's not bad, by the way. It's not, how can I say this? It's not great, but it's not bad either. And, of course, my alien wants to come in and tell y'all hi. She says, it's time for Dad to get off the computer. See, she's the queen, man. You don't screw with the queen. Yeah, I know. She does have baby
She's
ears.
so tiny.
She's just a baby dog. I know. She's just right.
All mine are asleep.
Put them ears up so people can see them. No, you don't want to put them up. Oh, no. I hear another one coming. We got to get off now, guys. Anyway, goodbye. Talk to y'all later, because I'm going to have a gaggle full of